Hey guys, welcome in. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Hope you had a great weekend. Oh my gosh, we have so much Bears Stadium drama to get to. And even if you aren't a sports fan, you're a taxpayer in this state, this issue has a huge impact or could have a huge impact on you. So look, I got to admit, I learned more about the Illinois General Assembly and how Illinois government works than I ever thought I would over the weekend. I spent basically Saturday and Sunday keeping tabs on a variety of Illinois media figures, reporters of their state house, and I'll tell you what, the drama was crazy. The drama was awesome. And I can't even begin to tell you, like, if I could separate myself as a taxpayer and knowing what the damage is going to be, if I could separate myself from the damage my wallet is going to potentially endure if the Bears come to Indiana, it was great theater. It was great, great, great drama to watch unfold in real time. The problem is I can't because I am a taxpayer of the state of Indiana, and if the Bears ultimately come here, it's going to be bad for me. But let's talk about what happened over the weekend in Illinois, and let's sort of set some parameters of this, right? Because I've told you guys for months now that I think the Bears' play with the state of Indiana was ultimately not to come to Indiana, but to leverage a better deal with the state of Illinois. The Bears, like nobody wants to acknowledge, the Bears are close to $200 million into the facility they purchased at Arlington Heights. So for those of you who don't know, just kind of to reset everything, I assume most of you know what's going on here because you are some of the most informed people in all the world, in all the land, certainly in the great state of Indiana. But for those of you who don't, here's the background on what's taken place so far. So the Chicago Bears, since the 1970s, have played in a stadium known as Soldier Field. Soldier Field is a lakefront property, and before that, the Bears played in Wrigley Field, which is the home of the Chicago Cubs. In the late 90s, the Bears decided that Soldier Field, and the city of Chicago decided that Soldier Field, which is a historical monument, it's a historical piece of property, had outlived its usefulness, and it needed a renovation. They ultimately spent hundreds of millions of dollars to renovate Soldier Field, which proved to be a disaster on the shores of Lake Michigan. It is one of the worst stadium. It may, in fact, be, it probably is now, the worst stadium in the National Football League. It's a disaster. Whoever did that, whoever got paid for that, stealing money from the people of Illinois, just thieving money. It is a disaster. If you have, not only is the stadium bad, the area's awful. Great view. Fabulous, right? Lakefront property. You think, oh my gosh, this is great. Well, the problem is there's nothing around it. It's hard to get to places to eat. There's almost nowhere to park. It is a horrible place other than the view itself to watch a football game. The tailgating, all of this stuff, it is a dumpster fire. And so the Bears said a couple of years ago, we need a new stadium. We want a new stadium. Let me rephrase. We want a new stadium. And the people of Illinois were like, well, wait a second. Like 20 plus years ago, not that long ago, certainly, we paid hundreds of millions of dollars for you guys to have a new stadium and everybody signed off on it. And the Bears were like, yeah, that was the old deal. It's 2020. It's to the 2020s, baby. We want a new stadium. We can get a new stadium. We're going for a new stadium. And so the Bears, their claim is that they exhausted all avenues with the city of Chicago. And essentially, after exhausting all avenues with the city of Chicago on location, the way to fund it, what it would look like, all of these things. I mean, let's face it, right? There's not just hundreds of acres laying around in the city of Chicago. Hey, you should go there. Sure, why not, right? I mean, you think about it. The size of the stadium, the parking, of course, now any of these major developments, no matter what type of stadium they are, be they baseball, basketball, football, there's communities around them. There's commercial communities, restaurants, bars, all of these things that didn't exist in the city of Chicago. So the Bears purchased hundreds of acres in Arlington Heights. Arlington Heights is a suburb of the city of Chicago. They purchased an old race course. They demolished the race course, and they said, this will be our new home. Pending the Illinois General Assembly getting their act together and granting us property tax certainty. And so this went on for a long period of time. The Illinois General Assembly refused to act, granting any sort of property tax certainty. And so the Bears finally said, enough with you people. If you don't want us, we'll negotiate with someone who does. And they came to the state of Indiana. And the Indiana General Assembly, faster than you could snap your fingers, said, giving away billions of dollars to a multi-billion-dollar corporation, we do that better than anybody. Heck yeah, we'll participate. Sign us up, baby. And so the Indiana General Assembly constructed legislation this past year that would give the Bears not a free stadium. The way the stadium would work is the public would own the stadium. The Bears would pay off the bonds. The Bears would get the stadium tax-free. And then the Bears would own the stadium after a certain period of time for $1. So the Bears would get a tax-free stadium. And on top of that, hundreds of millions of dollars would be flushed off of the toll road, I-80 toll. They just enhanced the tolling, by the way. They raised the taxes. The toll tax would be flushed to the Bear Stadium off the I-80 toll. And basically everything that went on in this area would go to pay off the stadium faster. So the income tax, the tax on the restaurants, the bars, the things would be built in the area. It was a sweetheart of sweetheart deals for the Bears. Oh, yeah, and on top of that, there'd be a ticket tax, and there was going to be a hotel tax, and there was going to be a new food and beverage tax for the people of the area. So whether you like football or not, whether you participate in football or not, to fund a Bears stadium in Hammond, Indiana, there were going to be massive tax increases across the board, not just for the people of the area, and this is the key, for essentially every motorist in the state of Indiana, because the toll taxes are going up, and those toll taxes were supposed to go to fund our roads, and now those toll taxes are going to be siphoned off, the majority of them, to go to the Bears Stadium. So projects aren't going to get done. Taxes are going to go up. In order to get those projects done that were supposed to be funded by the toll road, now they're going to raise other toll taxes or invent toll taxes like on I-70. So all of us in the state of Indiana, no matter where we're from, are going to get the joy of subsidizing the Bears coming to Indiana. And that's why I said, you people better hope that Illinois gets its act together. You people better hope that that somehow the General Assembly and the governor in Illinois pull through on this, because it is going to be, the Bears Stadium is going to be a financial disaster for the taxpayers of Indiana. And that brought us to Saturday and Sunday. The Bears, by the way, had set their own time frame. They had said, end of spring, early summer, we will make a commitment on where we're going, which seemed to coincide with the Illinois General Assembly wrapping up their legislative session at the stroke of midnight, May the 31st. Illinois' legislature was supposed to end at midnight on May the 31st. Now, a couple things that I learned about the Illinois government over the past 2 days is that midnight on May the 31st, well, it's just kind of an idea. Other than the budget, the Illinois General Assembly can continue after May the 31st. The only thing that changes is if they pass something after midnight on May the 31st, in order for it to take effect immediately, they would need a supermajority of both the House and Senate. But if it passes without a supermajority, it can't take effect until June 1st of 2027. Well, for the Bears, that wouldn't be that big of a deal because we're talking years from now that this stadium will come to fruition. So as long as the Bears have a framework, or had a framework, in place after the General Assembly wrapped up in Illinois, they'd be okay. Because technically, whatever they do, the Bears won't immediately be acting on it. So the plan in front of as of Saturday, and stay with me here on this, guys. This is crazy. Like as bad as our General Assembly is, I have found out that Illinois is infinitely worse. And it doesn't excuse how bad our people are. It's not like, well, you guys are an F, but they're an F minus, so your F is okay. No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying after 2 days of watching this, I can see why Illinois is in the financial shape it's in, because what you start, and this is interesting, right? In the modern era where you follow everything on Twitter, found a couple of really good reporters, couple of good news sources that cover Illinois government, a lot of independent journalists type people. And so what happens is Twitter, like YouTube, like, when we ask you guys, hey, like the feed, right? Hey, share the feed. The algorithm takes over. The machine is becoming self-aware. And so Twitter is the same way. Twitter looks at what are you consuming? What are you looking at? What are you taking in every single day? And so after a day of consuming Bears information coming from people covering the General Assembly, my whole feed became Illinois news and politics. All the Indiana stuff, nope, doesn't exist anymore. It just became Illinois news and politics and the Illinois General Assembly. So I start following all of these bills that I have no interest in, right? Like I don't give two damns about the Illinois budget, but then you start watching it and you're like, ooh, this is kind of interesting. You start following Illinois hemp legislation, like all of these things that have no impact on your life, but you're like, oh, this is interesting. I'll start following this. And everything with these people is a dumpster fire. Everything is chaotic. Everything is to the last minute. I mean, our session is that way too, but not this bad. So following the Bears bill, and the proposal that was in front of the General Assembly in Illinois that had passed the House, it was in front of the Senate, technically, it had already passed the House, was called pilot. Payment in lieu of taxes. Because the Bears' whole issue with building a stadium in Arlington Heights is we don't have certainty. We don't have tax certainty. They said, we know where we want to build this stadium. And guys, stay with me. I'm going to spend some time on this. It's fascinating. Like, it's so much drama. There's so much to get to. I may have to take a break in the middle of all of this. Like, it's so much chaos. But it's really important for us because our taxes are going to pay for this monstrosity if Illinois' taxes don't go to pay for this monstrosity. So the proposal in front of the Senate, because the Bears had said, we want to build in Arlington Heights. Chicago, the city of Chicago, the mayor, the alderman, the Chicago reps and senators said, well, we want you to build in Chicago. The Bears said, no, that ship has sailed. And so there was this drama about not only what to give the Bears, but where they had to build it at. The Chicago reps and senators were like scorned lovers. Well, we want you to be in Chicago. And the Bears kept saying, we've had that relationship. It was fun. We had some good times together. It's just not working out for us anymore. And so the House passed a bill which allowed pilot, which is payment in lieu of taxes, which would have allowed the Chicago Bears to negotiate with the city of Arlington Heights the taxes that they would pay. It would have essentially said all property tax laws thrown out the window for the Bears. They can negotiate their deal with the city of Arlington Heights, and they can come up with an amount agreed to by the Bears in the city of Arlington Heights, and they pay that instead of regular property taxes. And the Bears said, that's what we want. The Bears also said, we want that, and we want infrastructure around the stadium paid for by the government. We'll pay for the stadium. We just negotiate our own tax rate with the city of Arlington Heights, and the government pays for the infrastructure, and then we'll take care of the rest. House said, okay, great, sounds good. The Senate said, "No, we're not doing that." The Chicago senators, if you read through the minutia of all of it, and obviously a lot of this stuff is going on behind closed doors, a lot of it doesn't actually get out. But if you read the reporting, if you read through what's going on, the Chicago senators and the guy who controls the Senate is from Chicago, basically said, "Nah, we're not going to facilitate you leaving the city of Chicago. We're not going to have on our hands that we paid for the Bears to go to Arlington Heights." And the Bears said, "But we're not staying in Chicago. The offer is not Chicago or Arlington Heights. The offer is Arlington Heights or Hammond, Indiana." And the Chicago senators kept going, no. And it was like this standoff where people were just staring at each other like, Arlington Heights is the option. And Chicago was like, no, Chicago is the option. So nothing's getting done. Finally, we make it to Sunday. And late Saturday, early Sunday, the Senate comes out and goes, "There are not the votes to pass the pilot program to allow the Bears to stay in Arlington Heights. We will consider new legislation." It's like, what new legislation? You got 24 hours, dude. You got 24 hours. The Bears have said they're not staying in Chicago. The House has already passed this deal to help them stay in Arlington Heights. The Bears have said we like most of that. What new legislation are you talking about? We will get back to you as soon as we know. So all Sunday, there's like, what is this legislation going to be? What's it going to look like? What's it going to be? Finally, with a few hours to go, the Senate comes out and says, and you're hearing all this reporting, you're reading these reports of these people, all of this stuff. It could be this, it could be that. The Senate comes out and basically says, and they did not say this, but this is how I'm picturing them, how they should have said it. "We have simply decided to copy and paste Indiana's deal, cross out Indiana's name, and put Illinois in its place." That's basically what the Senate did after having literally years to get their act together, literally months since Indiana made their offer, months that the Bears said, "We really like this Indiana offer. It's really good. We would probably take that if Illinois doesn't get its act together." Illinois was like, "We have come to the conclusion, copy and paste is our best option." And Illinois passed a bill. Let me be very specific on this. The Illinois Senate passed a bill at about 4 in the morning local time, so about 3 in the morning their time. So they've already run past the midnight deadline, right? So now they've either got to pass this with a supermajority, both houses, the House and the Senate, or it doesn't take effect until June 1 of. Are you following me on this? I'm doing my best, guys. There was so much chaos. I'm doing my best, and it's so complicated, and I'm doing my best because I want to explain what happened, and then I want to tell you how it affects us here. So if any of this is not making sense, I'm sorry. Imagine trying to process it in real time. So what the Illinois Senate essentially did was copy and paste the Indiana deal. And the Indiana deal essentially creates a special governing body. They're calling it a sports authority in Illinois. But it essentially creates a governing body that allows the Bears to pay for a stadium that belongs to the public, but the Bears get everything that goes on in this district, the stadium, and the development that happens around it. It would be publicly owned, but paid for by the Bears, but the Bears don't have to pay any property taxes. So let's review. This is the most government thing ever. The Bears said, we're happy to pay something on our stadium. Illinois, we just think your property tax laws are prohibitive. So please allow us to just negotiate a deal with the community that we'll be in, right? So Arlington Heights, the community we're going to be in. Please allow us just to negotiate a special deal with them that works for them. We'll pay that, and then we'll pay for everything else other than the infrastructure around the stadium. The General Assembly was like, just to steal a line from the late, great Hulk Hogan, that doesn't work for me, brother. So then they said, we know what we'll do. We'll make it so you don't pay anything at all. What? So at about 3 in the morning local time, or I'm sorry, 3 in the morning Illinois time, 4 in the morning local time here. And by the way, last night, it was fun until about midnight, and then I'm like, screw this. I'm not just going to stare at my phone all night. I have to have some level of sleep. So I was setting my alarm every hour to wake up and see if they had passed this bill. Because, like, guys, you have to, I'm telling you, this is months of stuff. It's so complicated. Every one of these Illinois legislators, these Illinois Democrats should be ashamed of themselves. This should have been so easy for them. And they've made it ridiculously complicated. Let me rephrase that. The Chicago people have made it ridiculously complicated because they won't accept the Bears are leaving the city of Chicago. So finally, about 4 local time, the Senate passes this bill. And you're saying, why did they do this? Here's why. This is why politics ruins everything. Keep in mind, there was a deal on the table that the Bears had essentially agreed to where they would pay taxes. They were like, we're not objecting to paying taxes. We're just objecting to paying the taxes that you people are demanding we pay. The New Deal makes the Bears essentially not have to pay any taxes. But what does the New Deal accomplish? It allows any city in Cook County with a population of 70,000 people or more to be able to create the sports authority necessary to have the Bears pay no taxes. Who does that bring back into the conversation? The city of Chicago. And what this is allowing the senators are allowing these senators in Chicago to do. And by the way, when you say like senators of Chicago, that's a massive group of people because Chicago is such a large population portion of Illinois. It's not just like 1 or 2 senators. There's a whole bunch of them. What it allowed them to do in the Senate is to pass this, even though it's a worse deal for taxpayers. Like, it's a way worse. It's a way better deal for the Bears and a way worse deal for the taxpayers. It allows these senators now to adjourn going, Chicago is still in the mix. We have not lost the Bears. The Bears could still theoretically come to the city of Chicago. Even though the Bears have said, we don't want anything to do with the city of Chicago. We're done here. There's nowhere for us to go. We don't want the deal you're offering. We're done. But it allows these senators to adjourn going, we did not lose the Bears yet. Of course, Arlington Heights has a population of more than 70,000 people, so they're still in the mix, which is where the Bears want to go. By the way, the Bears have said nothing publicly at this point throughout any of this. No, hey, the Bears are on board. We don't even know if this is what the Bears want. They're just winging it. They're just making it up. Here, throw that against the wall. See if that sticks. So that's at 4 a.m. local time. Everybody just assumes the House, the Illinois House, is going to pass this bill. Everybody's like, okay, the Senate has made its deal. That is what the Bears are going to have to work with. Will the Bears choose essentially an identical deal to the deal that the state of Indiana has set up? Or will they just out of spite go to Indiana? Like, that's basically the thing. Everybody just assumes it's done. And people start waiting. When is the House going to take this bill up? When will the House meet to pass it? When will the House put the agenda item up? And you're following now. Now I'm awake, right? I had to wake up and I saw this and okay, the deal is done. And it's like, now I can't go back to bed. And now I got to start putting the template together for the show today. You have to wait because you have no idea what it's going to be because last night nobody knew what was going to happen. So now I'm already awake. I can't go back to bed. And you're waiting and you're following these people and you're refreshing and you're scrolling and nothing's happening. And then finally, there's an announcement from the Speaker of the House. Yeah, we just don't think the time is right for this. We're leaving. You guys have a good day. And everyone's like, what do you mean you're leaving? Yeah, we'll get back to it. But this is the last day of the session. Yeah, we recognize that. But you guys aren't meeting again until November. Yeah, we really don't care. It'll get done. They caught the Speaker of the House going back into his chambers, and they asked him, and he just goes, It'll all work itself out. It'll get around to it. And that was it. And it ended with nothing. The House passed a version. The Senate passed a version. They never came back together. The House was just like, we're done here. And so as of right now, there is no deal. All of that. And the Illinois General Assembly adjourned without a deal. Complete and utter insanity. Complete and utter incompetence. Complete and utter chaos. All right. I got to take a break because we're not done here with this. In fact, we're just getting started because there are like 9 moving parts now, billions of dollars at stake, the professional sports franchise coming to our state on the line. I'm giving this the time it deserves. Other people might give it 7 to 10 minutes. We're telling you exactly what's going on because it's that damn important. Before we take a break, though, you know what else is important? Getting to the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro this weekend for dinner or a Sunday buffet. The Honeysuckle Hill Bistro, you know, Andy, our guy, Andy, Jody, the owners, they love our show. They've been huge supporters all the way back to the State House Happenings days. They love what we do. And they have a fabulous restaurant in Brazil. It's on the water. It's scenic, outdoor seating, a peaceful evening away, and great, made from scratch Hoosier grub, as they like to call it. Had our guy, Ken Ingold, our super fan. Yeah. Ken E. Gold. Ken went. He told me. He said it was outstanding. He said, I loved it. And everybody who goes to check out the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro loves it because it's awesome. The food is fantastic. The atmosphere is amazing. The service is outstanding. And the best part of it all, Andy and Jody, the owners, massive Rob Kendall Show fans. Down-home food made with love. The restaurant is literally in the owner's home. It's Hoosier hospitality. The menu, check it out. Just Google Honeysuckle Hill Bistro in Brazil. They're open Friday and Saturday for dinner, Sunday for the brunch buffet. You guys will love this place. If you're looking for a different dining experience, the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro is the place for you. Like I said, open Friday and Saturday for dinner, Sunday for brunch buffet. Get your reservation today. Just Google Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. You can see all the menu for yourself. They recommend the Hoosier breaded tenderloin, which they think is the best in the state, but it's all outstanding. Every time I go there, I'm blown away at how good everything is. Make your reservation today. Google Honeysuckle Hill Bistro or call 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003. All right, so I've told you guys now everything. Like, I could have spent 3 hours telling you guys what happened yesterday. I tried to do it in 25 minutes. Did I do okay? Did that make sense? Like some level of sense? To try to wrap up 5 years in 30 minutes? Okay, when we come back, I'm going to tell you about what happens next. Because now Indiana's in play, like multiple cities in Chicago Illinois are back in play, including apparently maybe Chicago. And we'll talk about what this means for us, what this means for you. And what does it say that our lawmakers moved so quick to make sure the Bears were taken care of, but won't lift a finger on issues that are actually important to you, issues that actually affect you every day. We've got a lot more Bears Stadium drama to get into. I'm so into this. Look, I hope the Bears don't come here, but I'm so into this. I think all this is just crazy, crazy interesting. We'll talk about it next. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Man, we got so much to get to today, guys. In addition to this Bears drama, you know, it's weird, like doing this program. We got 3 hours. Because some days you're like, dang, how am I going to fill 3 hours? And then other days you're like, how am I going to fit this all in 3 hours? Like, there's so much today. We got to talk about referendums that are coming. We got to talk about this just ridiculous strong-arming by the General Assembly to raise taxes on people in Marion County to give them road funding. We got to talk, like, Hogshead is the one guy making sense in all of this, which is crazy. There is just a million things for us to get to today. We got the more stuff on the Bears Stadium. I mean, like, it took 30 minutes just to give you the background on it. Like, it's just unbelievable. And we'll get to all of it. We'll get to all of it today. But first, a couple of housekeeping items. Number one, if you haven't done so yet, please like our feed. Guys, we are turning up the heat. We are expanding the show. We are growing. And you guys can help us every single day with just a couple of very simple things. We call it like, we call it share, we call it subscribe. Nobody's doing Indiana news and politics and government like us. Number one, first thing, hit that thumbs up button. That really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Share the feed. We are dependent upon you, our fabulous listeners, to get the word out about us. If you got a Facebook, if you got a YouTube, tell people about us. That's how we grow every single day through you, our fabulous audience. And last but certainly not least, if you haven't done so yet, whatever platform you're consuming us on, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Apple, whether it's Spotify, whatever it is, subscribe to our channel and give us those. If you're on the Apple, the Spotify, give us those great reviews. Those things really help us grow this program. All right, two other things. Number one, if you haven't done so yet, tickets to the live show. We got a few left. Head over to robkendallshow.com, robkendallshow.com. June the 27th, Mad Hatter Comedy Club Event Center in Greenwood. We are doing the one-man live show. We're going to laugh. We're going to have an evening of fun together. It's really a thank you to you guys who have made this show what it is, who have helped us grow this show in the way that you have. Thank you. Our way to say thank you is just an evening together. We're going to, like I said, laugh. We'll roast politicians. You guys are going to have so much fun. So many of you have been like, I love the show. How can I support the show? This is the best way to support the show because not only can you do something nice for us, but you can do something for yourself. Yes, an evening out, June the 27th, Mad Hatter Comedy Club Event Center in Greenwood. Get your tickets. We've got the link up, robkendallshow.com, robkendallshow.com. Also, the support button is there. If you like what we do, you want to throw a few shekels our way, support button, robkendallshow.com. All right. So before we get back, and I got just a couple more things to touch on with the Bears Stadium, because it took forever just to explain what happened. Now we got to talk about what's next, because the what's next is the big part. You guys, we are on the hook for potentially billions of dollars with the Bears Stadium. billions of our money. I don't think it's going to go well. I don't think it's a good investment. And what happens next with Illinois could be a massive deal. So I do want to just wrap up that conversation by talking about that. But before we do, Seal Now, one of our fabulous sponsors. Your driveway showing signs of wear, cracks, freeze-thaw cycles, mold, mildew, dirt, buildup, all sorts of environmental hazards. They can make your outdoor concrete structures look damaged. Not look damaged, they are damaged. Driveways, sidewalks, patios, all of these things. That's where Seal Now comes in. The clean, seal, and stain professionals. And they do more than just bring concrete back to life. They can also do it with wood. So whether you've got a deck, a pergola, any of the stuff, right? Fence, any of that stuff. Wood, concrete, outdoor surfaces, Seal Now. The clean, seal, and stain professionals, they bring your outdoor surfaces back to life. Here's what you do. You go to sealnow.com, SEALNOW.com, sealnow.com. You can get a totally free estimate for your project. You can also see other people's projects and how yours might look. And if you mention, hey, I heard about you guys on the Rob Kendall Show, they're going to take 20% off any long-term sealing project. 20% off. It's summer. It's a great time to get those projects done. Your fences, your decks, your pergolas, your driveways, your concrete, your sidewalks, your patios. Great time to get all that done. Be the envy of the neighborhood. Go from being the blemish in the neighborhood to the envy of the neighborhood. sealnow.com. All right. So as we said, we still have no answers, no definitive answers on what's happening with the Bears Stadium. The Bears issued a statement afterwards, which was sort of a non-statement, basically saying we remain committed to going through our processes to determine whether Arlington Heights or the city of Hammond is the best place for us. And a lot of people are saying, well, that's it. The Bears are packing up. The Bears are coming to Hammond. I don't think it's that simple, guys. I don't think it's that simple. I don't think that if this, because there have been multiple lawmakers, there have been multiple media reports that despite the Bears saying that the city of Chicago is done, the city of Chicago is no longer an option, that the Bears have been meeting about the city of Chicago. And look, this is the state of Indiana didn't put a deadline on the Bears. The Bears put their own deadline out of saying end of spring, early summer. The Bears put that on themselves. The league, the NFL's put that on them. But this isn't over. I can't imagine, even as inept, even as corrupt, even as underhanded as the Illinois General Assembly is, the Illinois legislature is, that they would have adjourned without something to hand the Bears to give them to reject. If the Bears indeed had a timeline of, hey, May 31st at midnight. I think there's still a long way to go. And I still think, and I've talked to some other people who think that there is still a greater chance than not the Bears are going to stay in the state of Illinois. Now let's talk about what it says about us here in Indiana, though. Because essentially what the Bears did in the Senate was copy and paste Indiana's offer. They crossed out the name Indiana. They put Illinois in its place. What does it say about us that our lawmakers, when it came time to offer freebies to the Chicago Bears, because that's what this is about, the Bears are making a business decision here. Now, there's a reason they want to stay in Illinois. As I said earlier, the Bears are about $200 million into that property at Arlington Heights. Purchase of property, demolition, taxes paid, all of this stuff. Maybe even more than that now. The Bears have a financial interest, a vested interest in staying in Illinois. They are associated with the state of Illinois. Now, if the final offer from the state of Illinois isn't as good or nearly as good as the one in Indiana, they'll take the one in Indiana. But this is a business decision. The Bears are associated with Illinois. They are at the heart of everything, an Illinois franchise. And it would hurt them, and I think they know this, to leave the state of Illinois. They're much more apt to continue to get people from Indiana, the region, as they say, to go to the state of Illinois rather than to get people from Illinois who have just been scorned, the scorned lover, scorned sports fan lover syndrome to go to Hammond. And I think there's something psychological about the Bears, if not in the city of Chicago, being in the state of Illinois. Clearly, May 31st wasn't the deadline. And the Bears are playing a long game here. The Bears know behind closed doors what's actually going on. If that was it, if it was all over, the Bears would have issued a press conference at 12:01, June the 1st. We look forward to building in Hammond, Indiana. But that's not what's going on here. You're talking a multi-billion-dollar project that will generate tens of billions of dollars in revenue over its lifetime for the franchise. And it will add, and most importantly, it will add billions of dollars of value to the franchise when it is sold someday. They're not in a rush. The Bears are paying their bills. The Bears aren't going to be in a soup kitchen line anytime soon. And I've always thought that they were using the state of Indiana to get a better offer from Illinois. But what does it say about our lawmakers that they were willing to move so fast? That they were willing to drop everything and create this sweetheart deal that gives billions of dollars of our money, most of it coming from tax increases, to a multi-billion-dollar franchise. Look at Lucas Oil Stadium. Sure, it's attracted all sorts of cool stuff. Final Four, Super Bowl, Taylor Swift. Yeah, it's been great. Financially, in terms of payback to the taxpayers, dumpster fire. Look at the amount of money that is still owed on Lucas Oil Stadium almost 20 years into the deal. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, almost $500 million. That's got to be paid back. Look at the original Hoosier Dome. We were paying on that 12 years after its demolition. These stadiums, they're bright, shiny objects, and they're great for attracting cool stuff. They're not great deals for the taxpayers. It's why Illinois is in such a bind. Taxpayers have turned on their money going to billion-dollar megacorps, which are what an NFL franchise is. I mean, that's what they are. It's a business. You know, I was watching, there's a really cool documentary on Netflix about the Montreal Expos. And even if you're not a sports fan, you might enjoy it because it really goes into the business of sports and how sort of sports use us to make billions of dollars, sort of how they leverage the idea of community pride or civic pride or hey, this team is the city to get taxpayers to go along with making huge money for them. And the Montreal Expos, I'm sure most of you know this, for those who don't, the Montreal Expos was a baseball franchise that was around from the early 1970s until the early 2000s. It is now known as the Washington Nationals. In 2004, it left Montreal and it went to Washington, D.C. And this documentary goes through how beloved the Expos were in Montreal, how the people loved the Expos, how they showed up to the games, how they watched them on television, how they listened to them on radio. But because of a variety of financial issues, mainly, and I did not know this is crazy. Did you know that when you go play, if you're a pro athlete and you go play in Canada, at least in Major League Baseball, you're paid in American dollars? I did not know that. Probably I should have thought it through. But all the money that the team gets is in Canadian dollars. So if the Canadian dollar, which I don't know what the conversion rate is now, but for generations it has been worth less than the American dollar, all your money comes in Canadian, the TV deal, the ticket sales, the merch, but you're paying out in American dollars, so every transaction is a loss. And this documentary goes through all. I'm not going to spend time going into it here, but it goes into the variety of things that cause the Expos to lose money. And ultimately, despite this immense civic pride, this hugely loyal fan base, ultimately the owners, in this case it got so dire, it got so desperate that Major League Baseball had to take over the franchise, just said, your civic pride means nothing to us. We're a business, baby. We're here to make money. Yeah, I get it that for generations people have come to Olympic Stadium and you wear the jerseys and you wear the hats and you wear the shirts and you have the fan clubs, and sure, that's nice, but we're here to make money. And so goodbye. Thank you. See you later. Because Washington, D.C. built a stadium for the franchise. And so the point of all this is the Bears, just like any other sports franchise now, are a money-making operation. They are a financial juggernaut. Everything they are doing is about making money. That's the edict of the league they play in. It's not just the Bears or any other NFL team. The edict, the other owners tell you as a franchise, we want you to make as much money as you possibly can because that's good for everyone. A rising tide lifts all boats. One of the biggest pressure points for the Bears has been the National Football League on this stadium. They said, we're done. We're done screwing around on this. Make the decision. We don't care about your civic pride anymore. We don't care about your loyalty to the state of Illinois or your fan base there. We care about money. And so when you look at the history of these sports stadiums, they usually work out great for the team. The team gets all the stuff. Who they work out bad for normally are the taxpayers. Look at Lucas Oil Stadium. We're almost 20 years into the thing. We still owe almost $500 million. Who would cut a deal like that unless the government can, because it's not accountable to making money? Look at the Hoosier Dome. 12 years after it got demolished, we were still paying on it. And so what does it say about our legislators that at a time where the property tax thing is a complete mess, I'm going to get to that here in a minute, at a time where utility bills are record high, at a time where there is mass corruption in our government, see the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, at a time where road funding is a complete dumpster fire, we have one of the highest gas taxes, when it hasn't been suspended, in the country. We claim we're so broke, we're raising tax, or the governor's proposing raising taxes by billions and billions of dollars on new tolls. What does it say that those aren't the issues that our lawmakers were willing to jump into battle on? They came up with this Bears plan in weeks. Giving away billions of your dollars through new tax increases, which is how the stadium would be funded, was more important than solving issues that are affecting you. That's the biggest story here for us here in Indiana. The taxes we will pay and the message that was sent that making the Bears happy, rolling up our sleeves and finding a solution in a matter of weeks to appease the Bears was way more important than anything that would have actually helped make your life more affordable. When Mike Braun talks about affordability with this gas tax suspension, remind him of that. Affordability for the Bears was way more important than affordability for us. Now, look, I still think the Bears are staying in Illinois. I still think, based on the lack of urgency that I saw out of the Illinois Speaker of the House, the fact that they adjourned without a solution, the fact that they adjourned without a compromise, there's still 20 yards left to go to get to the end zone. Use a football term. But what a crazy couple days. I learned more than I ever wanted to know about the Illinois General Assembly and the Illinois legislature and the Illinois government. And that place, it sucks. It's awful. Reading the stuff they're doing, the way they're paying their bills. We're bad, guys. Illinois, way worse. Hey, guys, selling your home is a massive transition, and it can feel overwhelming. Lauren Wilson believes you deserve a real estate experience that's as personal as the home you're selling. Where you're going, where you're coming from, getting the most amount of money out of the home you own, and putting you in a place that you're going to be happy with for years to come. That's the goal of Lauren Wilson. Lauren Wilson is a realtor with At Properties. She would love to get to know you. And I think once you meet Lauren Wilson, you're going to find the benefit in trusting your home sale, your home buying experience to someone local. She's a Hoosier lifer. She's a military vet. And she would love to get to work for you. Call her today. Just find out what your home's worth. Haven't you ever wondered, like, hey, what could I actually get out of my home? What is the actual value of my property? Lauren's happy to do that. Do a evaluation for you. Tell you, here's what you can get if you sell today. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Lauren Wilson, realtor with At Properties. All right, speaking of taxes and tax increases and home buying and home selling, there are a whole bunch of communities across our state, probably more than 100 of them, who are about to see massive tax increases. We'll tell you about one central Indiana community that has a big old tax increase proposed of their own. Referendums are coming. I'm like Paul Revere, baby. The referendums are coming. They're coming. They're coming. Plus, we'll talk about this strong arming from the General Assembly for the city of Indianapolis to raise your taxes, to give them money to fund the roads. So much to get to. We'll talk about it next. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, realtor with At Properties. I would love to get to know you. I know that buying and selling a home is a really big deal. You need a plan in place so you can succeed. And that's where I come in. If you are buying, let me help you find that perfect home. And if you are selling, let me help you find that perfect buyer. Look, we're all Rob Kendall Show fans here. That's why I'd love to get to know you. I'm Lauren Wilson, realtor with At Properties, an Army veteran and a Hoosier through and through. Call me at 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Guys, the referendums are coming. The referendums are coming. We warned you about this. And it is all playing out, sadly, exactly as we said it would. It is the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't done so yet, please help us out by liking our feed. If you're watching us live or on demand, even if you're one of those, we get so many on-demand people on YouTube, like our feed. Really helps us grow the program. So last year, when the property tax bill went down, you guys remember I was screaming. I mean, there were a bunch of things not to like about it. But I said one of the things that this is going to do is it is going to open the floodgates for referendums across the state of Indiana. And Braun and the General Assembly tried to sell the referendum thing as a win by saying, well, no, see, we fixed it, right? Like we've made it so that they can only do referendums every 2 years. Schools can only do referendums every 2 years, and they can only do them in the general election. That's going to make them less likely to pass. And on the surface, there's some merit to that, right? It's why in the because that language. So before Senate Bill 1, referendums could happen whenever school districts wanted. They could be every year. They could be in primary elections, which most of them did, which was a deliberate act to screw the taxpayers because nobody votes in a primary. Most people don't know there'd be an election. The schools obviously know they can get their people to go vote, and so they would stick these on a primary ballot to try to rig the game. Senate Bill 1 made it so that referendums could only be every 2 years, even year elections, and they had to be in the fall. And that was fine as a part of a bill that actually delivered for taxpayers. That was an thing I was willing to accept when I was working through this with Braun, because the initial bill itself had massive savings for taxpayers. The initial bill, if you guys recall, reset the property tax bills to 2021 bills, which got us out of the inflation nightmare, which got us out of the assessment nightmare. And it also capped the growth of the bill. It was going to, remember, your bill can only go up like, 2% every year, 1% depending on what sort of circumstance you were under. And I said at the time, I said, okay, we're not solving the referendum issue, but we're creating such massive savings for taxpayers that they will see that we'll be able to fight this. We'll be able to battle. We'll be able to win. We'll be able to show people, look, this is what you're saving. Don't give it up to these referendums. And the savings would be worth fighting for. What ultimately happened with Senate Bill 1 is you got next to nothing. The businesses, the big businesses, got almost all the savings. And you still have to go fight these referendums. So the school, because there was nothing stopping them, said, we're not going to take this revenue loss voluntarily. We're not going to take this lying down. We don't have any respect for the taxpayers, so we're not going to give you any sort of break. We're going to get this money one way or another. And if you ain't going to give it to us through the regular property tax order, we'll just go for referendums. And if we fail, what's the punishment? And you guys remember, a year and a half ago, I was screaming about this, and I told Braun in the last meeting I had with him, I said, you are going to open the floodgates to referendums across the state, which is going to make people's taxes go up. And that's when he was like, well, I'll go knock on the doors. And I was like, right, sure, Grandpa. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. You're right. You're going to get your Skechers on and go out there and shuffle to doors across the state of Indiana. How many doors has Braun knocked on? None. And we have now seen that the Coalition for Public Education has estimated that there will be 100 school referendums or more this fall. And the majority of those are going to pass because Senate Bill 1 is so bad that they've somehow turned these schools into victims. Like, it is I don't see how this wasn't done by anything but design. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but there's no way you could write a bill that was this bad by anything but design and not know this was going to be the end result. So as I said, the Coalition for Public Education has confirmed that 100 or more school districts could be asking for referendums this fall. We have 92 counties, guys. That's more than one a county. And this is just the first year of all of this, guys. Think about what 2 years from now is going to look like, or 4 years from now. Now, look, I live in a community where, thankfully, our school district cut a deal with the local governments that in exchange for a certain amount of revenue out of their budgets, they would not seek a referendum, and that revenue, which is already factored into property taxes, is a fraction of what they could have asked for at a referendum. We got lucky. Now, I say we got lucky. The school didn't want to deal with me for a year. Beating the hell out of these guys because we've beaten these referendums before. This is why you have to take these referendums seriously, and this is why you guys have to punish these school corporations. You can never take your foot off the gas. That's why for 10 years, look, I play a long game here. I play the long game. I play. That I beat the hell out of the school corporation for 10 years about losing that referendum. Didn't ever want them to forget what would be in store. But most communities can't do that. And it brings us to a story from You Are Current. You Are Current is a Hamilton County publication. They cover all things Hamilton County. Hamilton Southeastern, who already has a school referendum, is proposing another. The proposed referendum would ask for a maximum rate of 36 cents per $100 of assessed value over 8 years. Now, what does that mean to you? A home with an assessed value of $400,000, which is not like when I was a kid, if somebody told me they lived in a $400,000 home, I thought they were the Beverly frickin' Hillbillies. Now you see a $400,000 home, that's nothing. I mean, it's nice, right? It's not a shanty, it's not a shack, but it's certainly a middle-class house today. A lot of middle-class homes are valued at $400,000, certainly new builds. Would add an extra $445 to their property tax bill. On top of the property taxes you already pay, so do the math, right? 1% of $400,000 is $4,000. So on top of that, you're going to pay an extra $445. So you would pay roughly, according to your current, $4,445 a year in property taxes if you live in a $4,000 home. That's gross. Now, what Hamilton Southeastern is doing is doubly ridiculous because they already have a school referendum. And what they've said is, hey, we already have a referendum that's above the tax cap. It's not enough. We're going big. We're going big or going home, baby. Currently, the tax referendum now is 19.95 cents per $100. They're trying to make it a 36 cent per $100 referendum, which means they're almost doubling the tax increase, which is wild because just a couple of years ago, Hamilton Southeastern condoned the referendum that they had by saying, well, it's lower than the one we had before. We're lowering this is what schools always do when they ask for referendums that are lower than the one we had before. We're lowering your taxes. But what would my taxes be if I didn't have a referendum? Well, no. We're lowering your taxes. This referendum's lower than the referendum we had before. But what if I didn't have a referendum? Oh, that's a silly, stupid question. And so what they've done is they have deliberately targeted the wiping out of savings from Senate Bill 1. They have deliberately targeted the savings from Senate Bill 1, which is exactly what I said schools across the state were going to do. As long as you give the schools unlimited ability to raise your taxes, they're going to try to do it. It's in their DNA. Taxpayer accountability for most of these people is not why they're there. The school people, because they can use kids as human shields, believe that they are entitled to unlimited amounts of your stuff. Unlimited amounts of your stuff is what they're entitled to, and that's what they're going to ask for until you stand up and tell them no. But the problem is, you tell them no, they can come right back. There's no punishment. There's no, hey, superintendent demands a referendum. If it fails, if it's not what the community wants, he gets fired. Now, that would be fun, right? Let's make it like a reality TV show. You win, you get the money. You lose, you get fired. How about that? Here's what the superintendent, Matt Kegley, had to say for Hamilton Southeastern. Talking about because they have to vote on the by the way, the referendums have to be passed by the end of June. So you're going to see a flood of these referendums coming this month because that's when they have to be passed. These steps were important before asking the board to consider an early referendum renewal. Even with these cost-cutting measures, the projected loss in expected revenue due to Senate-enrolled Act 1 would make it difficult for HSE schools to maintain the level of programming, staffing, and student support our community expects. Listen to the wording there. That's important. The projected loss in expected revenue. That's how they view it. Any decent person would say, hey, you know what? Property taxes have skyrocketed. A lot of people can't afford those. We've gotten really excess amounts of money the past 5 or 6 years, we kind of recognize that the days of that are over. We'll do our part. Thanks for the excess money you gave us. Now you enjoy just a modest amount of property tax relief. Keep in mind, people are still paying way more than they were 5 years ago, even with Senate Bill 1. We'll let you enjoy like just a modest amount of relief. This school system and 100 or more others are saying absolutely not. Your home is our property. We're entitled to as much of your stuff as we want. And I guess at the end of the day, while I blame the General Assembly for allowing this mechanism to exist, allowing schools to abuse the taxpayers, ultimately, we are to blame. It sucks we have to defend our right to tax caps, but I think I've created proof where I live that you can do it. Are you willing to invest a portion of your life in protecting your stuff? Are you willing to make the school system believe and know how nasty you're willing to get if they go for one of these referendums? Schools do this because they don't fear you. I'm not talking in the physical sense, but they don't fear how much you're willing to fight to protect your property. They don't think you'll do things like take the school board. Now, in the case of Southeastern, what are you supposed to do? A bunch of these people, one, pretending to be conservatives, and then they just keep going for these referendums. It's part of why people don't engage in politics. People tell them one thing, and then they don't follow through. I mean, there were a group of conservatives elected a couple years ago to the Hamilton Southeastern School Board on the premise of cleaning up the school board, and they just keep going for these referendums. The whole premise of Senate Bill 1, the whole reason it got started, I know it was my radio show that started the whole thing, was that schools have too much money. It's the whole reason we had tax caps put into the Constitution 18 years ago. Well, enacted and then put into the Constitution. It wasn't so the schools could just take more money. It was you have too much money. You need to figure it out like every other business has to figure it out. Hey, sometimes you got to cut people. Hey, sometimes you can't buy everything you want to buy. Hey, sometimes you got to make do with less. You know, in the real world, what we have to do, it's called figuring it out. We don't have unlimited budgets here. You don't have unlimited budgets in your life or where you work. You can't just take more money from other people. And yet, the school system, that's standard operating procedure. Oh, we don't like what you did, so we'll just take it from somewhere else. It's a rigged system. And the government knows it, and Braun knows it, and the General Assembly knows it. And they're not doing anything to stop it. Hey, guys, you got a leaky chimney, water in the basement, cracks around the exterior of your home? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants is your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Bramwell Mackay doesn't offer quick patches. Their team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, your masonry, foundation, and chimney specialists. All right, let's talk about what the General Assembly, run by Republicans, controlled by Republicans, supermajority Republicans, are doing to cause taxes to skyrocket in the city of Indianapolis. So if you guys remember last year, the General Assembly passed a new road funding bill. And by the way, every time there's a road funding bill, your taxes go up. Remember the last time they really dug into a road funding bill? Largest tax increase in the history of the state, the tax on gas that never stops going up. And part of the road funding bill last year was they gave the governor unlimited tolling capacity. Remember, the General Assembly just gave away. How disgusting is this? The General Assembly gave away their ability to provide oversight to the governor enacting tolling, which are tax increases. And at the time, they were like, oh, this is years away. This is just eliminate red tape. You guys remember from the radio show, I was like, no, I think this is coming soon. No. Shock jock is just scaring everyone again. And what happened? As soon as Braun got the authority to enact unlimited tolling, he went to the federal government and said, please give me this tolling that I now have unlimited capacity to try to enact. We were right, 100%. We know these people better than anyone. We call them out better than anyone. That's why they hate us. That's why they hate us. Not because we're wrong. They're mad because we're right, and we have the audacity to tell you what's going on because other people won't. And part of that bill was addressing the city of Indianapolis. Because one of the issues Indianapolis has had, and probably quite fair, now look, Indianapolis wastes a ton of money. I'm not here defending the city of Indianapolis. I'm not here telling you, oh, these poor people from the city of Indianapolis, like they waste millions and millions and millions of dollars. But they're allowed to, and they get away with it. But one of the issues with road funding is how the city of Indianapolis, one of the areas they do get screwed is how lane miles are calculated. Lane miles are calculated, and money goes to cities, to municipalities, based on lane mileage. Lane miles are calculated down the center, right? So you have a road, it goes down the center, there's a road on each side, right, coming and going, east, west, whatever, north, south, and that's considered a lane mile. Well, the city of Indianapolis has a lot of roads that have 2 lanes. Not just one. Like when I drive through Brownsburg, not all of them, but a lot of them are 2-lane roads, right? Coming and going. Indianapolis, because of the volume of traffic, has 4 lanes. They have to do double the road repair when they actually get around to repairing roads, fixing roads. Not often, but when they do it, they have double the amount of roads to repair. And quite fair, Indianapolis makes the case, wait a second. We are, as long as not everyone has fled yet, it gets more prevalent by the day, but we are still the major economic driver for the state of Indiana. Our roads get all sorts of damage from people who don't live here. They work here, they earn a living here, but we don't get any of the income tax. That goes to where you live, not where you work. And this road funding, we got to repair all the damage these people are doing. And for years, the state of Indiana, the Republicans, I think primarily because Indianapolis is controlled by Democrats, have said, there, that's nice. Have a nice day. So one of the things the state said they were going to do was address the city of Indianapolis and the road funding issue with the city of Indianapolis. Well, what they did was pretty disgusting. And by the way, RTV6 has an article about what we're about to discuss. The state of Indiana came to the city of Indianapolis and said, we will give you an additional $50 million annually in road funding. And the city of Indianapolis said, oh, that's awesome, man. Thank you for finally addressing this. We appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. And then the state of Indiana said, yeah, there's a catch. And the city of Indianapolis said, well, what's that? They said, you have to enact a certain amount of new revenue every single year on your residents, and that new revenue has to go directly to road maintenance. Well, new revenue is code for tax increases. The Republican supermajority in the General Assembly, who is supposed to be the party of low taxes and limited government, said to the city of Indianapolis, the primary economic catalyst for the rest of the state, said, we will only address your road funding if you agree to raise taxes on your residents. Think about that. They're supposed to be the party of low taxes and limited government, and they said, we will only give you money to address your road funding issue if you agree to raise taxes on your residents. So here is the plan the city has come up with. And it'll be unveiled tonight and the process will begin to enact it tonight. By the way, Josh Bain, remember the Indianapolis City County Council? He will be with us tomorrow to go into this because he doesn't believe there has to be revenue. Every other person I've talked to said there has to be new revenue, including people who are Republicans and conservatives. So we'll see what he has to say about it. Under the plan unveiled by the city of Indianapolis, car owners who currently pay the county vehicle excise tax would pay $100 per year when they register their vehicle. That's up from the minimum of $750 now, which is based on 10% of the excise tax. Truck owners, or those who currently pay the county wheel tax, would pay $240 per year, up from $10 or $40. Guys, we are talking about massive tax increases on people in the city of Indianapolis. And in order to get the $50 million from the state of Indiana, Indianapolis must contribute $50 million in new revenue in 2027, $70 million in 2028, $80 million in 2029, $90 million in 2030, and $100 million in 2031. So the tax increases, they're going to continue to go up. And every person I've talked to has said what RTV6 is saying in this article. The 2027 match must be entirely new revenue according to the state law. If the city cannot provide the required match, it loses the state funding forever. So every year they have to match this money. They have to come up with this amount of money. $50 million, $70 million, $80 million, $90 million, $100 million, or they lose the funding. Which means the taxes are going to just keep going up. Guys, this bill is so bad. Joe Hogsett seems like it's the voice of, has appeared to be the voice of reason here. Here's what Joe Hogsett said to the proposal. Right now, families across our city are already stretched thin by rising costs at the gas pump, in utility bills, at the grocery store, and on everyday essentials. This is not the moment to ask them to shoulder an additional financial burden, especially with the proposal that puts the heaviest burden on those who can least afford it. We owe it to our community members to deliver solutions that invest in infrastructure without placing additional financial strain on hardworking families. It is my firm belief that the proposal announced today is not that solution. Guys, where are we at where Joe Hogsett starts making sense? Where are we at where Joe Hogsett is the voice of reason? And what does it say about our General Assembly? Who, again, where people are always like, why are you so mean to the Republicans? Why are you so mad at the Republicans? This is the plan the Republicans came up with. Call it strong-arming, call it bribing, call it whatever you want to call it. The Indiana General Assembly, controlled by the Republicans, their solution to road funding was go ahead and raise your taxes by $50 million. Oh, and then raise it by 70 the next year, and then 80, and then 90, and then $100 million. That was their solution to road funding because it's their solution to everything. Raise taxes. That is what the Republicans are all about. Oh, want to bring the Bears here? Raise taxes. Want to give Indianapolis money to fix the roads? Raise taxes. Want to get your local street project done? Raise taxes. How are Indiana Republicans any different than the Democrats? It's disgusting. We will have Josh Bain here tomorrow. He's going to tell us why, because he was one of the people that was advocating for this deal from the General Assembly, why he thinks it's a good deal, why he thinks the city's getting it wrong with the tax increases. I'm going to be fascinated by this because every other person, including conservatives I've talked to, says this has to be via tax increases. We'll see what he has to say. Guys, this week, if you're thinking about something different when it comes to your dining, check out our friends at Double D's Barbecue. They're open Wednesday through Saturday. It's authentic, wood-smoked, Memphis-style barbecue. It's located on 40, right near 39, in Clayton. Everybody who goes just has raved about the service. They've raved about the atmosphere. It's Elvis-themed, by the way. Tina, one of the owners, she worked at Graceland. So it's Elvis decor, Elvis-themed. And most of all, they said the food and the service, outstanding. If you guys have been thinking about something different, Double D's is the place for you. All their food, made fresh daily. They make all their own sauces, all made from scratch. Double D's has specials every day. Wing Day is Wednesday, so if you're getting ready for the rest of the week, Wing Day is Wednesday, loaded baked potato on Thursday, and then Mississippi farm-raised catfish on the weekend. Double D's has all sorts of specials. Check out their Facebook page, Double D's Southern Barbecue on Facebook. And make sure to get there early, guys, because since everything's made from scratch, once they're sold out, they're done. Check out the full menu. Ribs, brisket, and more at ddbbq317.com. ddbbq317.com. All right, let's take a break. The Democrats in Indiana have a big choice to make over the weekend, this coming Saturday. The Democrats have a huge choice to make, and there was a fascinating article about this choice and the direction of the party. Can the Democrats finally get their act together and start winning some races? Can they finally start being competitive? We'll know a lot more about that after Saturday. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434, and mention Rob for a free attic inspection.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like button. Nobody's doing Indiana news and politics and government like us, and we are happy to do it. We call it filling a void in the market. That's what we call it. We are the void. We are filling the void in the market, and you guys can help us grow, by doing those 3 simple things. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button. Also share the feed wherever you're listening to us from. We don't give enough people the love they deserve on Apple and Spotify. If you're an on-demand listener there, we talk a lot about the live feed because, we're live here doing it, the YouTube feed. But if you're listening to us, the thousands of people that are tuning in on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, all the places, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Thanks for, helping us out. Share the feed wherever you're at. And, of course, subscribe to whatever your channel you are finding us on. So let's talk about the Democrats for a second, shall we? Here in the state of Indiana. Because Saturday, I think, is a big day for them. And look, one of the things we can do on this show, because we have the freedom to be totally independent, we can tell you exactly what we think. We can tell you exactly what we think is best. And one of the things that I think would be best for all of us, no matter what party you're a part of, is for the Democrats to become somewhat competitive in the state of Indiana. Even if they're not going to win, the Democrats becoming competitive consistently in our elections is going to be best for all of us because it will hold the Republicans accountable. Right now, the Republicans operate in a system where they don't fear losing power. Now, individual Republicans may fear losing primary elections, as we saw, a month or so ago. But the party itself doesn't fear losing the power. And until the Republicans fear losing the power, they're not going to do right by you. And we are in a very rare season in our politics where the Democrats actually have an opportunity not only to win, but win a very important office and strike a blow on the Republicans. The question is, can the Democrats get out of their own way in order to pull this off? All the stars are aligning for this to happen, but Democrats have been great at snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. And so what I'm talking about here is the Democrat convention is this Saturday. And like Republicans at their convention, they will nominate their candidates for statewide office. So their Secretary of State candidate, their comptroller candidate, their treasurer candidate. And nobody's really paying any attention to their treasurer candidate, their comptroller candidate, because those races probably aren't going to be all that close. In those races, the Democrats will nominate 2 women who are uncontested. But what everybody's paying attention to in the Indiana Capitol Chronicle has a big article about is their Secretary of State race, the nomination for their Secretary of State candidate at the convention. Because that is contested, and they're 2 very different Democrats. And the way the party goes this Saturday is going to tell you a lot about what they want to be this fall. Now, when we talk about the stars lining up, a couple of things have had to go right or needed to go right in order for the Democrats to be competitive in a state that, let's face it, by default, it's kind of 60-40. Number one, the Republicans have to screw up. They are. Look at their Secretary of State nominating process. Diego and Engling and Shelton and Rittenauer. It's mass chaos. I'm not going to go into it today. You guys know how that's shaping out. Check. There is big division in the Republican Party. There is a chance that they will nominate Diego Morales. But even if they don't, there's such division and there's such chaos that the Republicans are to some extent wounded. Now, what extent we won't know until who the nominee is and we see how everybody coalesces around that guy or girl, if it's Jamie Rittenauer. But the Republicans have checked box 1. They are wounded. They have problems in-house. They have internal problems creating division and chaos. Check. You need someone to pull votes from whoever the Republican nominee is. You either need a super good Democrat or a third-party candidate that can do the way Rainwater did from Holcomb in 2020. Now, the problem Democrats had in 2020 was Rainwater pulled all those votes from Holcomb, but they had a horrible candidate in Woody Myers. And so a bunch of Democrats voted for Holcomb, and it wiped out all the gains that Rainwater could have given them because Democrats lost their own voters. This year, potentially, we don't know yet. It was a month to go. You could have Greg Ballard, the former mayor of Indianapolis, running as an independent. If Ballard's on the ballot, he will inevitably pull votes from the Republican, no matter who it is. Now, would he pull more votes from Diego than, say, David Shelton? Absolutely. But whoever it is, Ballard's going to do damage, especially in central Indiana. So box number 2, Check. Republicans need to do damage to themselves. Check. Box 2, you need an independent to pull votes from Republicans or third party to pull votes from Republicans. Check. Then you get to the third part of the equation that they didn't have in 2020, which is potentially a good candidate running who can not only keep all the Democrat votes in house, but also expand the Democrat vote count beyond the base. And that potentially exists with candidate Beau Bye. Look, the Republicans are petrified of Bye. He's all they mention. They're scared to death. Why? Because by statewide electoral standards, Bye is the best candidate the Democrats have had since Joe Donnelly in 2012, when Joe Donnelly won the U.S. Senate race. He's young. He's loaded with cash. He's moderate. He's reasonable. He's not going to make any crazy mistakes or say anything stupid. And he's got the Bye family name. 5 or 6 things that will help him the Democrats have not had in a decade and a half. The problem for Bye is he's got to get through his party's nominating process. And at convention, you tend to get more ideologues than are made up, than are, percentage-wise than are the electorate. They tend to be more extreme. More extreme candidates tend to get out rather than ones that necessarily are nominated because they can win in the fall. Obviously, nominating someone who can win in the fall hasn't been an issue for the Democrats in a decade and a half. So I don't think they've had to worry about it. Now they do. Most of you know Bye is running at convention against a woman named Blythe Potter. She's a military vet. She's been on our show. She was very nice. She's a former Republican. She's also much more liberal than Bye. She also has aligned herself with the far more left wing of the Indiana Democrat Party than Bye. She spoke at the No Kings protest. She was just endorsed by Destiny Wells. By the way, Blythe, I don't know who's running the campaign. You should not have touted the Destiny Wells endorsement. How many times has she lost in a row? 4, right? She's the Buffalo Bills of Indiana politics. I saw that and I was like, Blythe, come on. You seem like a very nice woman. You got to use some common sense. If Destiny's going to vote for you, great, but you shouldn't be rolling out, hey, here's this woman who can't win jack crap. She's with me. You should be too. But the Capitol Chronicle had an article about this, what will be a hotly contested convention, or at least it could be. And they interviewed people who are going to be delegates. They talked about the candidates, both Potter and Bye as candidates. And they discussed, and they asked these people to discuss where they're at and how they're voting and how the convention might go. Now, here's what's interesting about the candidates. Both of them agree with Indiana's voter ID law. That's how good our voter ID law actually is. That both candidates for Secretary of State have said no changes needed. Don't touch voter ID in the state of Indiana. Why? Because people like voter ID and voter ID works. Even Potter, who is super liberal, and she said it in our show, and she said it in this article, voter ID is fine. There's no need to change Indiana's voter ID law. Why? Because people like it. It's not unreasonable to ask somebody to show an ID, and voter ID works. The other thing that both of these candidates are for are ballot referendums. And I think this is going to be something that's going to be a big deal this fall. Right now in Indiana, we are stuck with whatever bad legislation our lawmakers put forward, unless they pass it out of a constitutional amendment out of 2 legislative sessions in a row, and then we get the right to vote on it. Both Potter and Bye support ballot referendums. And quite candidly, I think I do too. With safeguards, with a very high standard to get something on the ballot for a referendum. But I think if you can meet an extraordinarily high standard in terms of signatures, Look, I mean, we're seeing what Greg Ballard's having to go through right now, right, to get 37,000 signatures. By the way, our old pal, our friend Stephen Whitmer, Indy reporter, posted this. He had been looking through Ballard's campaign finance report, and it looks like Ballard is paying $50,000 a month to this firm to get the signatures for him. I think he's like $150,000 in. Think about that. For less than $300,000, Greg Ballard might be able to begin the process of taking down the Indiana Republican Party. Isn't that crazy? I mean, if he's paying $50,000 a month, he's still got, basically from the last report, May and June, that'd put him at what, $250,000? $250,000 to get the signatures. And if he gets the signatures, he likely takes down the Republican nominee for Secretary of State. That's crazy to think. That's all it took. But I've been telling you guys that for years. I've been telling you guys that for years. Is all it would take was a viable, fully funded, reasonable, normal third-party candidate, and the Republicans are in big trouble. Here's what so they interviewed Bai and Potter, the Capitol Chronicle did, for this article. Here's what Bai had to say. You tell me if this sounds familiar, and we want to thank Bo Bai for being a big fan of our show. You tell me where you've heard this quote before. And I'm saying this is a positive. This is what he should be saying, because whoever the nominee is, whether it's Diego or not, the Bai campaign needs to be about Diego's corruption and the Republican Party doing nothing about it. Knowing who he was, knowing the crap he'd pulled, and doing nothing about it. And it appears, and look, Bai's a good candidate. I've been telling you guys this for a long time. He's a good candidate. He gets it. Quote, this is a bunch of insiders, some in D.C., some here in Indianapolis, substituting Diego Morales at the last minute, not because he's incompetent, not because he's corrupt, which he is, but because he's going to lose. You're welcome. Good on you, Bo. It's exactly why people are fed up with politics. Bingo. He gets it, man. Look, I'm cheering for the Democrats to get their act together because I know that's the only way the Republicans are ever going to get their act together. The only way Republicans will ever stop putting special interest ahead of us, the people, and the only way the Republicans will start giving conservative and liberty-minded people not only a voice, but the voice in the party, is to start losing elections. I am cheering for Ballard, and I am cheering for Bai. Look, I'm also cheering in some capacity for the libertarian Lori Schillings to get 2% to stay on the ballot. I talked to a prominent libertarian on Friday, and they said they were very concerned she's not going to get the 2%. And look, it's a tough sell, right? The Libertarian Party has depended for years on a big portion of its votes being the protest against Republicans or Democrats. If you're a protest of a Republican this year, Ballard probably takes the overwhelming majority of those people. And if you're a Democrat, even if Bai's the nominee, and we'll get into what some of these people who don't necessarily like Bai had to say that are going to be delegates, but if you're a Democrat and you recognize the first time in, 15 years, 14 years to win a statewide election, are you going to throw away your vote? Well, we got to help them get the 2%. Sure, I can win for the first time in 14 years, but I got to help this poor woman over here get the 2%. Ain't happening this year. Democrats are going to go all out if Bai's the nominee because you know what's going to happen? Let me tell you how this is going to go. Whether it's Engling or Diego or Shelton. Now, the results will vary based on who that person is. But as soon as June ends, and we know if Ballard's on the ballot. Now, this is, of course, all dependent upon Ballard being the nominee. Or not the nominee. I'm sorry, getting on the ballot to be the Lincoln Party nominee. Let's just say it's Ballard and Bai and Philip pick the Republican. There's going to be a poll that's going to come out. I know of polls that are already being done, and I know what they're showing. So I'm telling you, there's going to be a poll that's going to come out. And it's going to show Republican with 40 whatever and it's going to show by the Democrat with 40 whatever, and it could be 30 whatever. And then it's going to show Ballard with probably somewhere between 15 to 20% would be my guess. Because here's the thing that nobody is factoring in. In order to get on the ballot, Ballard has to get 37,000 signatures. And the media attention that he will get when he turns in 37,000 signatures, guys, the visual of it, I can't even begin to tell you what the visual will look like. I've been a part of a candidate turning in 4,500 signatures. That was massive. You're talking 7 times that, 8 times that. That will get such statewide media attention. The visual, Ballard will get millions of dollars in earned media just off getting the signatures. It's a phenomenal investment if he pulls it off, the 250 grand, whatever he's paying that firm to do it for him. It's a great benefit. It's a great investment. And so there'll be a poll showing Ballard probably somewhere between 15 and 20%. Because people will know he's running. People go, oh, yeah, I remember him. Oh, yeah, he's a good guy. Oh, yeah, he's kind of reasonable person. Oh, yeah, these Republicans, they're really screwy. And so then every Democrat's going to see, holy smokes, we actually have a chance to win. Yeah, libertarian, no protest this time. No el protesto. Voto el bio. And if the people on the right who are mad at the Republicans, or the Diego voter who's mad if he doesn't get it or whatever, if they're going to protest, it's going to go to Ballard because he is a Republican. Was whatever, a Republican. The Libertarians are in super, super danger of not getting 2% of the vote this year and losing their ballot access. And that's going to be a shame. But look, I am only one person with one vote. And right now I'm open. I'm open to everyone. But Bai is spot on. No matter who the nominee is, if it's Engling, he's going to say he's running on Jim Banks' letterhead. This is a Banks stooge inserted at the end because Diego was so corrupt. You run on Diego's corruption and the Republican corruption no matter what. If I'm Bai, I'm running on, look, nobody knows what the office does anyway. I'm running on the corruption at the IEDC. Too. I'm not stopping at the corruption in the Secretary of State's office. I'd run on all of it. Bai also said this. There's nothing partisan about election security or increasing voter participation or helping business owners or rooting out securities fraud. This office really should be impartially run. Bingo. He gets it. Look, the Republicans hate him because they know he's going to be hard to beat. He's straight out of central casting. He's not going to make any big mistakes. He's just, the Republicans aren't going to be able to run the usual playbook against this guy. And by the way, he's saying the reason that I said the Republicans should nominate David Shelton. I think the best path to Republican victory this fall is David Shelton. Because Bai is right. The office should be run impartially. Republicans can't seem to figure that out. The speeches that I saw Engling and Diego give at that event in McCordsville on Thursday, it was all about impartiality. And then there was Shelton, who was just like, hey, we just do elections, right? No impartiality. Let's just be upright, noble people and count the votes properly and make sure every vote counts. Shelton is the perfect guy to run against Bo, Bai, and Greg Ballard. He is the perfect guy because he is so damn boring. And what are you going to run on him? What are you going to say against him? He's too good at administering elections in Knox County. What case would you make against the guy? I want to see Bo Bai run an ad that says David Shelton's wife owned a sex toy business. I want to see it. I want to see $10 million in ads about Shelton's wife's sex toy business. What would you run? Engling, the ads are already made up. Diego, the ads are already made up. Shelton, what ad are you going to run? And then you get boring guy running with two other boring people in Elliott and Nishalan, you probably hang on to the office. Or you got at least the best chance. What's Ballard going to say about Shelton? But I'm not sure the Republicans are going to do that because that's not how a Republican convention works. But Bai is right. And that's the case he's going to make. This is a nonpartisan office. I'm not running to be partisan. I'm running to administer the will of the General Assembly. It's the perfect talking points. He's got them down. Now, look, I will say this. The one thing he said, and I get I'm splitting hairs here, and I'm probably – the job of the government is not to increase participation in voting, Bo. That's not the job of the Secretary of State. The job is to make sure that everyone who counts, who wants to vote, has their vote, who is eligible to vote, has their vote count. Just for the people who are like, he's too nice to buy. See, I found something not to be nice about. It is not the job of the government to encourage people to vote. It's my job to go vote. It's Jason's job to go vote. You tell me when the election is, I go vote. If I don't want to vote, don't be spending my money telling me to go vote. It's my job to research the candidates. Ballard and all these people are like, we need a brochure on the candidate. No, we don't. It's my job to figure out who's running. All right, so they asked a couple of people about that are running as delegates about who they're voting for and why. The Capitol Chronicle did. And the Potter voter was interesting because there seems to be some acknowledgement this is our only shot and we'll probably throw it away if we nominate her. And again, it's nothing against her. She's super nice, and she was very well spoken, and I think she'd be fun to hang out with. I just think, when you're showing up at the No Kings rally, that's just a made-for ad. And so the Democrats have got to decide how true do they want to stay to their principles. Because I think Blythe Potter is way closer to the core of the Democrat Party today than Bo Bai is. I think the base of the Democrat Party is way more Blythe Potter than they are Bo Bai. And I think in a normal year, if she wasn't running against Bai, Blythe Potter is a much more likable Destiny Wells. She is. She's like Destiny Wells, who is not just wholly unlikable. Here's what Mike Oles, who's a Potter supporter, said, and I think he gets at the heart of the struggle with the Democrat Party right now. Because he's talking about Potter and running against Bai and the things that Bai brings to the table, which is money and access to more money. He said, quote, how do we raise money and stay true to our values? Not take the money that ties us to polluters and charter schools and warmongers and even MAGA. Bo certainly doesn't seem to have that problem. He has a much clearer conscience than we do when it comes to how do you raise money and how do you win a race like this. Look, Mr. Potter, or Mr. Oles, rather, Mr. Potter voter, people give money because they want something, like big money, right? Yeah, I'm not talking about the people who get, $25, $50, $100. I'm talking about your big money donors. They give because they want something, and that is access, and that is stuff, right? They want contracts. They want gigs. They want things. Secretary of State oversees a lot of stuff that people want. There are people who give altruistically. And look, Blythe Potter's gotten huge money from one woman. Most of her money's come from one woman. Was she like the Lewis Bakery heiress? I think that's who it was. She claims she don't want anything. I don't know, right? I don't know. I need to be friends with that woman if she don't want anything. Right? But Bo Bai is getting that money because people think he can win. And when he gets in there, people want something. But you got to have the money to run the ads, right? If I'm a Democrat, I recognize that evil. And until that evil is rooted out of politics, you haven't won anything in 14 years. I admire your being true to the cause. Oles went on to say, progressive populism is the way out of this in Indiana. No, it's not. No, it's not. This is a red state, or at least a lot of independents who vote red. This is not a left state. It's not a blue state. People recoil against progressive populism. Not corporate moderate Democrats who lost race after race. But hopefully when we win in November, we'll figure out the coalition and it's all good. The Democrats have nominated all sorts of super liberal people, and they've gotten smoked. See Destiny Wells over and over again. She's twice been a statewide nominee. She's lost to arguably the two worst statewide candidates Indiana could have put forward, Indiego and Rokita. It wasn't close. They blew her out of the water. Jennifer McCormick lost to a bad candidate in Braun. She got smoked. Why? Because she ran to the left. People are going to vote Democrat if they're not threatened or offended by the Democrat. Showing up at the No Kings rally with the big left speech might work well at the convention, to the base. It does not work to regular people. There are going to be a whole bunch of people in play who have not been in play for a very long time for the Democrats. There are a whole bunch of people who have for years just voted red who will have two potentially safe harbors to go to. Ballard. There's a lot of people who say, well, I would never vote for a Democrat. I know. I talked to multiple of them who were some of the people who were the finders. They were like Indiana Jones uncovering the treasure of Max Engling. I know. I've talked to them. They said, I would never vote for a Democrat. But there are a lot of people who would vote for Greg Ballard. And there's some people, like me, who so badly want the Republican Party to actually govern like its platform that recognize the Republicans need to lose to start doing that, start respecting conservatives, that they're thinking really big and they might vote for Bye. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the Democrats, at least once in a generation. It's going to be fascinating to see how the convention goes on Saturday. Because if Bye doesn't win at least 70% of the vote, that's a really bad look for him. He needs to come out of there with 80% of those votes. Total dominance and make a statement. The Democrats are back. If Bye wins 80%, he ought to come out there, and that should be the statement. The Democrats are back. We're taking the state back. We're done with the days of the Looney Tunes. The adults are back in the room, and the Byes are back, baby. That should be a statement. I bet it won't be, but it should be. Hey, guys, before choosing a mortgage, it's smart to talk with someone you trust and can actually sit down with because he's local. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage is a local lender helping buyers and homeowners across central Indiana with home purchases, refinancing, and strategies to manage debt using home equity. Gary focuses on education and guidance so you understand your options before making a decision. No pressure, just solid advice from someone like you. To see what could be possible for you, visit loansbygary.homes. Loansbygary.homes. You got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. Call for a free no-obligation quote. 317-695-5179. 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender. All right, guys, let's take a break. When we come back, got to talk about there's real red flags on the polling in Texas if you're a Republican. We got to talk about Trump and what's going on with he canceled the concert, and he basically replaced it with himself. We got some national stories to get to. A lot more on the way. We'll be right back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties. I would love to get to know you. I know that buying and selling a home is a really big deal. You need a plan in place so you can succeed. And that's where I come in. If you are buying, let me help you find that perfect home. And if you are selling, let me help you find that perfect buyer. Look, we're all Rob Kendall Show fans here. That's why I'd love to get to know you. I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties, an Army veteran and a Hoosier through and through. Call me at 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002 or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. If you haven't done so yet, like our feed, please, guys. That really helps us out, helps us grow this program. Like the show. Couple of housekeeping items, and then we'll get back to this polling in Texas. Is wild, and look, my least favorite part of every show is where I have to tell you how right I was. But this polling in Texas should be a big red flag for the Republicans in the Senate race. Couple of housekeeping items. Number one, as we said, if you haven't done so yet, please give us that little thumbs up. It's just a little thing that goes a long way. Number two. Had a great conversation with a couple of local business owners. Sent me an email, sales@robkendallshow.com. Sales@robkendallshow.com. Had a great couple conversations over the weekend. We got some brand new folks that are coming on board. And if you would like us to promote your business, I would love to do that for you. Just ask any of our sponsors that have used us, the results we get for them, the identity with our brand, how that's working for them. We do. We get results, guys. And you guys are the most loyal, amazing audience imaginable. One of the reasons we kept the show or tried to keep the show as local as we can has been that I wanted that local audience, right? And we have many listeners in other states. We love you guys, but we knew that would help our advertisers, help our people that are supporting us. And you guys deliver every single day. So if you own a business, if you run a business, or you know someone who owns or runs a business, get a hold of me. Sales@robkendallshow.com. Sales@robkendallshow.com. We got some great new advertisers that are coming on board with us here in the next couple of weeks. And it's one of my favorite parts of my job is getting to meet so many great local Hoosiers that make our economy run and figuring out how we here at the Rob Kendall Show can get to work for you. Also, if you haven't done so yet, get your tickets to the live show. It's coming up June the 27th. Mad Hatter Comedy Club in Greenwood. Mad Hatter Comedy Club in Greenwood Event Center. Great venue. We're going to have so much fun together. It's a celebration of this show, the things we've accomplished together. A thank you to you guys for being such a huge part of it. And you can get your tickets now by heading over to robkendallshow.com. robkendallshow.com. We got the link right up there. Come hang out with us. Celebrate. It's an opportunity for you to kill two birds with one stone. One, you can do something nice for yourself, an evening out, around your friends, the people you're involved with in the YouTube chat, and you can help our show. There you go. Two birds, one stone, robkendallshow.com. And look, this is really a way for us to say thank you to you guys. This show has grown by leaps and bounds. It's been such an amazing, we're 13 weeks into this thing now, and I talk to people in our industry, and they are just blown away at what we've been able to accomplish. The influence we have, the amount of listeners and viewers that we've been able to get. And I knew it, man. I knew you guys would deliver if we put the product out. And look, other mediums have contacted me. They're interested in what we're doing. There's a lot of great stuff happening, guys. This show is going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to elevate. It's going to continue to skyrocket. And it's thanks to you guys. You guys are the best audience in the whole world. Jason and I, we can't thank you enough. All right, so let's talk about what's going on in Texas. But before we do that, because there's some really interesting polling that is out, and it goes back to exactly what we talked about last week on the show. But before we do that, I want to thank our friends at Vent Savvy. They've been with us from the beginning. John, the owner of Vent Savvy, he's an amazing guy. He loves our show. And, John recognizes, hey, there's a lot of hot air going on in Indiana politics right now, and it's blowing around out there. John thinks, like I do, maybe they need to call Vent Savvy. Look, guys, if your bathroom vent, if it's the mirror staying fogged up for a long period of time, if your bathroom vent sounds like it's about to launch into orbit, probably not doing its job. And not doing its job can lead to water buildup in the walls, in the ceiling, in the attic. That can cause you a lot of problems down the road. Cut that off at the pass right now. Call our friends at Vent Savvy. Get a hold of them. Just head over to ventsavvy.com. VENTSAVVY.com. They specialize in fixing bathroom ventilation the right way. And again, we've been at this 13 weeks now. You wouldn't believe the amount of people who have called John. John's been out to their house and said, I didn't even know I had this problem. Didn't even know this thing existed. John is a Hoosier through and through. He loves our show. He's been with us since day one. Support those who support our show. Vent Savvy, VENTSAVVY.com. And make sure your fan's moving more air than the Indiana State House. All right, so last week, voters in Texas, in a runoff, decided to dump incumbent John Cornyn, and they decided that they nominated Ken Paxton. Now, we have laid out to you, so the way Texas, and almost you know this, but the way Texas election process works, they have a primary. Anybody can run. They can get on the ballot. And if no one gets to 50% plus one of the votes, they have what's called a runoff, where the top two vote getters then run against each other in May, and whoever wins that election then is the nominee. And Cornyn and Paxton, neither one of them got to 50% of the vote. And so they had a runoff, and Paxton won overwhelmingly. He was endorsed by Donald Trump. Now, Paxton is a complete dumpster fire. He's a piece of crap. And everything from he was under indictment for allegedly defrauding investors. That ultimately culminated with him paying back $300,000 in restitution, and then he had to do 100 hours of community service. He was impeached by his own party. Allegations related to bribery. The guy's bad news. And for some reason, look, and I'm not saying Cornyn's great. I'm not saying everybody should have thrown their support behind Cornyn. But Paxton is a walking, talking scandal. And for some reason, the Republicans got behind him. And we see this more and more now, where we are saying personal character, especially personal character while you're in office, doesn't matter. Now, I'm not saying I'm not a choir boy, and I'm not saying everybody in office should be a choir boy. But your behavior in office matters big time. And by the way, look, if you want to run for U.S. Senate on the Democrat or the Republican side, fair game, right? It's all fair game. You're all big boys, and it's blood sport. You know my theory on that, right? So like the guy Plattner running in Maine, who all this stuff is coming out about him, personal behavior, personal issues. Look, if you want to be a U.S. Senator, you should be ready for it. I go back and forth on whether I care about personal things you did before you were a candidate for office. Now, if you're a candidate for office and you did it, or you're the office holder and you did it, okay, no anything there. But if it's stuff you did and it's personal, like it didn't harm anybody, like in the case of Plattner, he's married now. He had numerous indiscretions with this woman who is his wife. And allegedly, the indiscretions were continuing now into the campaign itself. I don't really care what you did before you were running for public office, but I do care what you're doing while you're in public office or you're running for public office. I think that's fair game. If you have so little self-control, you can't stop the bad behavior while you're a candidate, you ain't going to stop the bad behavior while you're in office. I don't think I really care if it's personal and it's not. He wasn't stealing money. He wasn't harming people. If the guy's, that's between him and his wife. But once you're a candidate, I think I care about that. I think I care. I think I care. Now, if you're doing things that are illegal or whatever before you're a candidate, I care about that. If you got a My Case file or you should have had a My Case file, I care about that. But the point was, the point is, that throughout this runoff, people like me were like, if you nominate Paxton, you're going to potentially give this race to the Democrats because Paxton is so egregious. Paxton's behavior is so egregious, and he's so unremorseful, unrepenting about any of it. He's like Diego Morales on steroids. I mean, Diego Morales, for all the crap he's pulled, I'm not aware that he's ever been, indicted for anything. Certainly not aware of that. I'm not aware Diego Morales was ever impeached. He wasn't. And yet this is the guy the Republicans put forward in a purple state that certainly leans Republican, but Democrats have won in the past. They can win again. And the Democrats, this Tallarico, who he's running against, is the new golden boy. It's just going to be one fawning, glowing media piece after another about him. Why would you do that? But the Republicans decided they wanted to do it. And the first polling has come out on this race in Texas, in which 47% of people polled, by the way, this was Texas Public Opinion Research, 47% of likelies are likely voters, by the way, which is key. That's big. You put way more stock in likely general election voters than just registered voters. 47% of likely general election voters backed Tallarico compared to 44% for Paxton. Now, look, it's the first poll after the primary. It's 5 months before the election. So I'm not saying it's an end-all, be-all. I'm not saying it's a doomsday scenario. I'm saying, though, at least the initial reaction of voters, and there's some data in this poll that comes back to what I was talking about last week that backs it up. It's not good. You certainly don't want to start from behind. Now, again, Texas probably a state that may deliver a little more Republican than polling. Who knows if they actually are in fear of losing, if people get motivated to go vote. Who knows what sort of campaign this Tallarico is going to run? What other dirt exists on Paxton? But it's not a good place to begin from, and it's self-inflicted. Nearly a third of respondents who voted for Cornyn in the runoff indicated in the poll that they will support the Democrat nominee in November. Only 44% said they would vote for Paxton. 23% were undecided. Now, does that mean that all of those people who said they're going to vote for Paxton, some won't get cold feet at the end? No. Certainly, he could pull some of those people back who said they're voting for him. The Paxton could pull some of the people back that said they're voting for Tallarico. The 23%, will those people stay home? Will those people get the cold feet, right? And vote for the red no matter what? But that's not good, guys. A third of these people who voted for Cornyn, they're not sold on Paxton. And that doesn't even incorporate the people, because Cornyn won the actual primary day. He got smoked in the runoff. He won the actual primary. A lot of those people stayed home. Where are they at? Don't know. And it comes back to a conversation that I've been trying to have for a long time now, which is Trump. Trump has gone out of his way to be as big an ass as he possibly can to a lot of these incumbents he's defeating. Which I'm not talking about being against the record. I'm not talking about running against the way they've governed. All well and good. But Trump has dug in so much and so deep on the name calling, on the belittling, on the insults that you've made it, you've given these candidates, these incumbents and their supporters safe harbor to not align back up with you. And I know I talked about this a little bit last week, but the best example I can give you of that is Richard Murdoch. It can and does happen, guys. Richard Murdoch lost the U.S. Senate race in Indiana in 2012. It's how he got Joe Donnelly. He lost it. Donnelly didn't win it. Murdoch lost it. And it wasn't just the comments that he made about abortion that did him in. Murdoch spent months going on television and refusing to try to bring Lugar voters, Richard Lugar, the longtime senator who he beat in a primary, back into his camp. And it was all style. It wasn't his views that needed to be changed. You got to moderate your style a little bit to make sure your coalition is united. And so when Murdoch made that horrible mistake and made those horrible comments about abortion, the Lugar voter was looking for a reason to leave. Okay, done. A lot of them were going to leave anyway. Murdoch wasn't way ahead. He should have been. He wasn't way ahead before that because he didn't coalition build. And I'm not talking again about changing your view on issues. I'm not talking about caving. I'm not talking about principles. I'm talking about how do you build your base to be as strong as it possibly can? How do we make sure your core coalition is as strong as it possibly can be? And Trump, with the name calling, with the belittling, he's just needlessly pissing people off. Look, those people are going to vote for who Trump tells them to, no matter what. No matter what, the people are going to do what Trump tells them. It's sport for him, and that's okay in a primary. It's probably fun. It's probably fun. Now it's not so much fun, is it? Now you need the Cornyn voter to come back into the fold. How do you get that person? They don't have an answer for that right now. That's what's going to decide elections in places like Texas. Can the full Republican establishment turn out? Can the full Republican Party turn out? Of the Cornyn voters who said they will now back Tellerico, more than half started the criminal charges against Paxton and corruption concerns. It's a big deal. And Trump simply name-calling Cornyn or telling people to vote for Paxton ain't going to make it not a big deal when people go to vote in the fall. The Republican Party, there are just not enough only Trump voters. It's about a third of the electorate. They're not enough. Not even close. You've got to get all sorts of traditional Republicans and independents in swing states, which Texas kind of is. I mean, it's a Republican-leaning state, but it will vote Democrat if you force it into it. You have to give people a reason to be for you, and pissing them off is not it. It's part of why I got out of politics. I was sick of having to be nice to people I didn't like. I was sick of not being able to say exactly what I thought about people. And you can't as an elected person. You have to try to coalition build. It doesn't mean you compromise your principles. It doesn't mean you compromise your values. It doesn't mean you give in on policies. But your style matters. Style matters. It's one of the things that keeps me from ever running again so far. I don't want to have to be nice to people I don't like. I don't want to have to suck up to people that I can't stand. I don't want to have to do any of that. I want to just come in here and say what I want and go home. The Republicans have a big problem across this country because they're not united as a party. They're not united together. And in these swing states, look, Susan Collins, I don't like Susan Collins. Republican from Maine. She's the incumbent. She's been there since the earth was young. I don't like Lisa Murkowski, Republican from Alaska. There's several of these people I don't like. I also accept the reality, though, they're the Republican that can win. Now, I'm not invested in the Republicans winning, so I don't care. I was never really invested in the Republicans winning. I voted for Murdoch. I didn't care. I looked at Donnelly and Lugar as being the same guy. I wish Murdoch had done it differently because Murdoch would have been a great senator. That's the thing. Murdoch was a genius. He was a weirdo, but he was a genius. Murdoch's knowledge of issues, Murdoch's conservative bona fides, he would have been great in the U.S. Senate. But he just wasn't willing to do the things necessary in order to win. And it went way beyond his comments on abortion. So, I don't look at Maine or Alaska and be like, oh, damn, that'd be a shame if the Republicans didn't keep that seat. I'm freed from that now. I don't care. But as a Republican, if I were a Republican who cared, I'm a Republican who believes the Republicans need to lose a few elections. But if I were a Republican who cared about only the Republican winning, I would be like, I don't care how conservative I am. Conservative can't win in Maine. You got to go with her. That's your option. It's votes for most of your judges. Just look at it that way, I guess. That's not me. I don't care. I'm not in that position. People like Murkowski are the ones who can win in Alaska. Alaska will vote for Democrats. It just amazes me that the Republicans just seem dead set on doing everything they can to try to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Texas should have been a no-brainer. Just check that one off the list. Now, not only is it in play, you're losing. Doesn't mean you're going to lose, but it means you're in trouble. Hey, guys, one of the biggest complaints people have with real estate is they never actually get to meet or or hang out with or get to know their realtor. Like you go with one of these big firms and they just stick you with somebody and then, you kind of know them and then you get passed around. You need someone local, an individual who gets to know you, gets to know what you want to accomplish, gets to work for you from day one. The house you want to buy, the type of house you want to buy, and how much you can get the maximum dollars out of the house you're selling. That's where Lauren Wilson comes in. Lauren Wilson, realtor with At Properties. One of the things a couple of you guys have done, and Lauren loves this, is you said, hey, I'm not thinking about selling today, but I kind of want to know what my house is worth, and that might trigger my willingness to sell. Lauren loves that. She'd be happy to give you a free evaluation. Here's what your house is worth. Oh, and then if you tell her, here's what I'm kind of looking at going to, she can lay that out for you as well. Like, here's what you can get now for that amount of money. Lauren wants to be your advocate, and she knows that's just not signing a piece of paper and then, hey, I'll go out and find you a house or I'll sell your house. It's you guys working together from start to finish, getting to know you and exactly what you're trying to accomplish. Give her a call today. Lauren Wilson with At Properties, 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290. All right, we'll take our last break. When we come back, Jason will have the best YouTube comments of the day, and I told you I was going to get to, remember last week we did that story on Diego and how much he'd given out in raises? I said there's a second part of this story, and we'll get to it Monday, and I'm going to get to it, on how much money he keeps giving to people how much money his office keeps giving to people who give a lot to his campaign. We'll tell you about that when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
If authentic wood-smoked barbecue is your thing, Double D's Barbecue in Clayton is the place for you. Owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett, are from Memphis. So when it comes to barbecue, they're not screwing around. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. All of Double D's food is cooked fresh daily, and it's all made from scratch. Double D's Barbecue, located at 40 and 39 in Clayton, is open all day Wednesday through Saturday, but get there early because once they're sold out, they're done. Check out the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more at ddbbq317.com.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
With a lakefront view in beautiful Brazil, the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage is a little out of the way, but totally worth the trip. Down home, made from scratch food, just like the good old days at Grandma's. When you visit the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage, you'll leave more at peace than when you came in. Open 5 to 8 for dinner on Friday and Saturday, and Sundays 11 to 1:30 for the buffet. You must experience the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage. Call 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434, and mention Rob for a free attic inspection.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Hope you're having a great Monday. Thanks for being with us. I get asked all the time, you ever get tired talking 3 hours a day? I said, I was born to do this. And then my wife doesn't have to hear me when I get home. It's really a benefit for her. I don't feel like talking. Great, wonderful. Hey, let's talk about what's going on with Diego, because last week we told you about all those raises he was doling out, including to his former campaign manager and his now, I guess, disappeared former deputy chief of staff that was a non-citizen. Now we got to tell you about how much he's giving out to people who gave generously to his campaign. But before we do that, you got a masonry color mismatch, previous repair catching your eye, not happy with the brick color in your home and ready for a total makeover? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants offer specialized masonry staining and recoloring. Whether you want to seamlessly blend repairs or completely transform your home's exterior, want to build something new? Bramwell Mackay's 40-year master masons design and construct custom patios, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and more. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, beauty built to endure. All right, so let's talk about Diego and the Capital Chronicle. They had this article that came out last week. I was only able to get to a little bit of it because we spent so much time on Diego handing out the raises to his buddies that I thought, well, we spent enough time on Diego for one day. But the Capital Chronicle also included the amount of money Diego Morales has given in no-bid contracts to a major campaign donor. And records obtained by the Indiana Capital Chronicle show Morales, so if you want to go back and read it, Indiana Capital Chronicle with the full article. Records obtained by the Indiana Capital Chronicle show Morales' office on May 6th paid $90,000 to Maverick Quantum Inc., an artificial intelligence development and software company, from Indiana's Securities Restitution Fund, an account meant to compensate victims of securities fraud. He gave $90,000 to an AI company from an account meant to compensate victims of securities fraud. Someone should ask Diego how giving $90,000 from an account meant to compensate victims of securities fraud to an AI company squares up. That'd be about question number 93. I'd ask him if he ever came in here. By the way, guys, I'm giving up on Diego coming in. I guess he's just content to lose his campaign. We called. We asked. We were very generous. We asked repeatedly. And look, I wouldn't let Diego do the interview either. I was talking with somebody about this over the weekend. You think he's coming on? I said, no, he's not coming on. I wouldn't let him do the interview either. I mean, we all know he would have a complete meltdown. He wouldn't make it past who paid for India. He would start, I pay. And I'd never probably even be able to get to the point of commonality we have, which is that he's getting screwed. And look, Diego's a turd. He wouldn't be able to, he doesn't do interviews. He wouldn't be able to handle the interview. I mean, he'll go on whoa because they just go, But anybody would actually like ask real questions or hold him. He's not going to do that. And I don't blame him. Diego, I don't blame you. You probably made the right choice for yourself. You're going to lose anyway at the convention. And so just lose and be done with it. Just hope Ryan Mears doesn't swoop in before now and the time you get out of office. That's probably the best hope for you. And we tried. We did our best. But this is where this article gets interesting. Maverick Quantum Inc., the Texas-based company's original no-bid contract, was signed on January 31st in 2025, carried a maximum value of $1.15 million. An amendment signed last month added roughly $1.368 million. No-bid contract. For those of you who don't know, that means they don't put it out like, hey, can somebody else do this job cheaper? Hey, can somebody do this job better? Hey, maybe we can get it at better price. And we're not talking about like, hey, we needed the office clean, so we called AJ's. By the way, guys, we're going to be telling you about AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning. She's coming on board with us. These are the coolest. I don't know if you can see it from here. These are the coolest freaking business cards I've ever seen. AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning. If you need your office clean, if you need your house clean, AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning. We're going to be telling you all about AJ's coming up here very soon. We got our sports betting show that's coming back this fall. She's going to be supporting that as well. These are I'm going to have to take a picture of this. The coolest. Yeah. This is great. It's the neatest thing ever. AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning. If you want to learn more about them, little freebie for a future advertiser. She's already paid. That's how I know she's coming on board. That's why I'm comfortable saying she'll be with us very soon. AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning. If you need your office, your house, whatever, clean, 317-530-8148. She's a huge fan of our show. 317-530-8148. Or if you want to see their work, AJSPPC.com. AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning. AJSPPC.com. Yeah, that business card is awesome. If I ever get a business card, it's going to look like that. It's great. Anyway, it's not like you're like getting a small, local house cleaning company to come in and clean the office. We're talking $1.15 million and $1.368 million, and they didn't bid it out twice. Here's where it gets interesting. Indiana campaign finance records show CEO Vamshi Vidaraja. It's never like Joe Smith, right? What is it with Diego? It's never Joe Smith. CEO Vamshi Vidaraja has donated $75,000 to Indiana political campaigns since 2024, including $55,000 to Morales' campaign committee and $20,000 to Governor Mike Braun's campaign. The most recent contribution, a $15,000 donation to Diego for Indiana, was made December 22nd, 2025. So you see how this works, guys? Maverick Quantum Inc. from Texas couldn't even give it to a local company. All these companies were paying to bring in through the IEDC, couldn't even give the deal to a local company. Maybe there's a chance they might hire a Hoosier. So our tax money gives Maverick Quantum Inc. $1.15 million, and then $1.368 million, and then Vamshi Vidaraja, VAMSHI gives Diego for Indiana $55,000. Diego's a cheap date, man. Think about if you had a stock and they were like, I'm going to need you to invest $75,000. Gee, Bob, I don't know. That sounds like a lot of money. Well, you'll get a payment of $1.15 million and $1.368 million in return. Hot damn! Oh, and by the way, you won't have any competition. See, when we talk about when Todd Rokita talks about the scandals, I wonder if this was one of them. Todd won't tell you what the scandals were. You know, the scandals that were so bad, Diego had to get out of the office? Or, well, I guess get out of the race. He didn't call for him to get out of the office. Hey, Todd, was Vamshi one of the scandals? And when we talk about why the Republican Party won't challenge Diego, What do we tell you? Follow the money. According to the Capitol Chronicle, who did old Vamshi also give to? $20,000 to Mike Braun. Who won't weigh in on whether Diego should get out of the race or resign the office? Mike Braun. Guys, we didn't just fall off the turnip truck. When we tell you these things, there is all sorts of money that touches Diego Morales, that touches almost every single one of these high-profile politicians in our state. It's not a coincidence. They won't call for him to be investigated. They won't call for Ryan Mears to step in, the Marion County prosecutor. It's not a coincidence. They won't demand the inspector general launch an investigation because they don't want the money choked off. It's all about money. It's all about money. And you're getting screwed in the process. So basically what happened here, oh, by the way, I needed to tell you about this. Yeah, I would be derelict of my duty if I didn't tell you about this. This fund that he pulled it out of that's supposed to go to victims of securities fraud, according to the Capitol Chronicle, State Budget Director Chad Rainey, who is appointed by Governor Braun, said the fund currently carries a cash balance of $927,799. So basically what Diego did was he found a slush fund. He found a slush fund, and he's giving it in a no-bid contract, according to the Capitol Chronicle, to a guy who gave $55,000 to his campaign. That's how politics works. Anyway, that's enough of Diego. I don't want to ruin your day. Some guy who makes everybody's day. Let's go to him. There you are.
Caught me off guard there a little bit,
Sorry.
Rob.
My bad.
That's all right. No problem.
Producer Jason joins us now. Best YouTube comments of the day.
Caught me napping over here.
Brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. Tell us all about everyone.
I will tell you all about Black Sheep Plumbing. Black Sheep Plumbing, give them a call at
you need me to filibuster for a second?
No, I got it covered right here. 765-315-7558. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, you could be in for a major shock. Don't let your next call to the plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. Black Sheep Plumbing can do the job right at a fraction of the cost of the big guys. And Black Sheep Plumbing says thank you to all military, firefighters, and police officers with an American Heroes discount. Owner John McKinney, a Hoosier lifer, takes pride and stands behind his work. Give him a call, 765-315-7558, 765-315-7558, Black Sheep Plumbing.
All right, so a couple of things. One, we love McKinney. He's got the mobile billboard on his truck. So everywhere he goes, he's got the Rob Kendall Show.
You got the billboards on the interstate. You got the billboards on John's truck.
Yep. And then just a reminder.
That's where all the new viewers are coming from.
That's right.
John's truck and the billboards.
That's right. We are totally dependent upon the kindness of strangers.
That's right. All the Johns out there.
That's right. John's our guy.
That's right.
All the
Johns.
All the Johns. Couple of things. One, in order to be a part of the YouTube chat, you do have to be a subscriber. Every day we have a fabulous community, hundreds of people making hundreds and hundreds of comments. They're lovely, wonderful folks. They'd love to add you to the list of people. And all you got to do is subscribe to the channel. And then once you do, Jason reads the best comments of the day. He monitors, he controls the YouTube chat. And then he makes you the star as our way to say thank you for being part of the show with us for 3 hours each day.
Quite often we get as many as 800 to 900 comments in the chat. It is pretty amazing.
And then it's not like some throwaway. People, you guys say things that sparks me to have comments, and then I kind of respond to them.
Sure.
And it's our chance to have a back and forth every day.
Absolutely. And we start today with the Old Man 68.
Number one.
Happy Monday morning, everyone. Strap in, hold on for another fact-filled week of the Rob Kendall Show. However, a bit of discrepancy there.
There's controversy.
There's not controversy among the folks that you would think. It's mostly among us. Last night I sent Rob a screenshot where Debbie Holcomb was the first one in.
Last night.
That was last night. What was that, about 8:30, 9 o'clock, something like that?
And she was so excited.
It was 9:52. No, it was 9:52. No, it was 9:52 p.m., Debbie Holcomb. Am I early enough? 8:50 p.m. on a Sunday night, and there's no bumper music. And 15 and a half hours till producer Jason. she was the first like as well. But we got here this morning, looked in.
Gone.
I don't know what happened. Maybe when we hit go live, it just erases
Oh, that's
it. I'm not
interesting.
sure what happened there. But, Debbie, you were recognized, and we do appreciate your tenacity.
Yeah.
But the old man won again.
Yeah, no. Thank you, Debbie.
Officially, sorry, the old man won it. The checkered flag right there. Robert Bradburn, we're getting destroyed today at work. A new Mazda order for car frames came in, and these blueprints seem like they are in 5 different languages. Won't be in the chat today.
Oh.
But
he came in the chat.
Came in the chat to let us know he will not be in the chat. So that was very
it's kind of
very polite
of
old Robert Bradburn.
But the good thing for Robert Bradburn is he can go back and listen on demand on the YouTube, Apple, Spotify, all the places.
That's right. We said your name, Robert. Go back and listen. Spray Jockey, 180 minutes until Jason, if Rob gives up the mic. He did today. He was on time.
That's
today.
right.
Rob was all over it today. Carol, 1776. Morning, Kindle Nation. C Mills, 890. Good morning, all. Glad to be back, but still wish I was on vacation. Ready for another great show.
So C Mills is a trucker, right?
C Mills is a truck driver.
Yeah. So he crisscrosses the fruited plain. But last week he was in Florida, and he sent us several screenshots. He has the shirts, by the way. They look great. He sent me a picture.
He sent a text of the shirts, and we need to get those before the show somehow so that we can.
That's right, because I want to probably wear them. Although this is my uniform, right? So I should probably wear one.
You can wear one underneath.
Well, I got to get my mom's shirts, right?
Rip it off.
I'm going to make my mom part of the bit,
so
it
only
works with the
going.
shirts. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. All right, well, you do that. That'll be great to see Mom Kendall out at the live show.
I don't know. Here's the thing. My wife, I think, may want to come to this one.
Oh, you gonna let her out of the house?
And so my mom said she would babysit. So I don't know. Bring my mom or my wife, one of the two.
Okay, well. All right, Steve Green with an E. Steve Green with an E. Very, very, very generous. Gave a large donation today.
Thank you.
Yes, and if you'd like to do the same, you can go to robkindleshow.com, look for the sponsorship logo there, and you can hit that and give us all the money you want, like Steve Green with an E did. Very generous. And Steve, we honestly really do appreciate it.
My goal is to end up in someone's will. Like
I will take a long time. I'm more of a immediate response kind of guy.
Well, isn't there some rule where you can
give me the money now?
You can gift a certain amount, and like it just continues in your will. Like you could continue giving annually.
Well, hopefully Steve will be around a long while. Though.
No, I'm not saying that's what I'm saying. Maybe the generous giving will continue for years and will end up in his will too.
Right, gotcha. Yeah, that's right. Instead of leaving it to some charity, you can leave it to
or
the
your
Rob
kid.
Kendall Show.
Who's brought you more joy, Steve? Us or your children?
Right. Andy Engel, hey, all. Good morning.
What did Steve say?
Oh, did I not read that?
No.
Okay.
I cut you off. It's my fault.
Okay. Steve Green with an E. Good morning, all. Today's show is going to be on fire. Too much ridiculousness going on with the Three Stooges not to be. Three Stooges. I don't know. Baron Rakita.
Diego?
Your buddy was in the news all weekend, too.
Who?
Your buddy Micah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I think people probably thought you would talk about him.
No, look. Okay, here's my deal with
Beckwith.
Beckwith.
Dead horse.
Well, yeah. Here's the deal with Beckwith. Unless he ends up in a jumpsuit with a mugshot, I'm probably done talking about him because he craves attention.
What else can you really say?
He's doing this to get attention. He's not doing it to help you. He never talks about the stuff that's to help you. Mm-hmm. He does it to crave attention. He's like a little petulant child. He doesn't care that he's making it harder for people to govern. He doesn't care that he's pissing everyone off. He craves it, so I'm not going to give it to him.
Andy Engel. Hey, all. Good morning. I saw a Rob Kendall Show billboard near Edinburgh last night. Awesome to see.
My mother-in-law lived, and my wife's grandmother lived near Edinburgh, so I hope they've seen it.
Okay.
I just want them to know what a big deal I am. That's really my
big dealio. Little Robbie.
Little
Robbie's on a billboard.
Perfect place for a billboard.
That's right. Debbie Holcomb. I was here last night about 8:15ish. Where were you? We saw you, Debbie.
We saw you.
You
were part of our chat last night.
We thank you. Hoosier 2025. Happy Monday. Best way to start the week with Rob and Jason. Reliable news you can count on.
That's right.
Sounds like a liner. Hoosier 2025. Did I just? I sure did. We'll slip on down to Carol 1776, who says there is a Rob Kendall billboard on the northbound lanes of I-69 between Pendleton exit and Hoosier Park exit.
Yeah. I wonder what people don't like me when they see him, what they think. I mean, we hear from the people who do like me. I'd love to be with a person who doesn't like me because, they hate that I have those billboards. Thanks to John Russ, by the way.
That's why John Russ does it. Puts a big smile on his
Oh,
face.
totally.
Every time
Oh, no.
hates one of them.
There's no doubt. That's exactly why he does it. By the way, thanks to John Rust. Our third hour each day made possible by the generosity of John Rust.
All right, continuing on. Nicholas Kurtz at Rob Kendall. Good morning, boss. Didn't want to make you feel bad. I know what he's doing. Because he follows up with at producer Jason. What's happening, legend?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for getting Rob in there. We don't want to hurt his feelings. Debbie Holcomb. You're right, Rob. Indiana is the negotiating tool of the Chicago Bears.
I mean, I hope so. If we end up with the Bears, that's going to be horrible financially for Indiana.
Most people in the chat not thrilled about the possibility. No one excited, let's say, about the possibility of the Bears coming. The old man, MLM warrior, spray jockey, Vic Ferrari, they're all against it. Well, paraphrasing, but yeah, I think they're all against it. So there we go. Young Kim Young. If we had all the money that Democrats allowed foreigners to steal from us, I think we would have enough to pay for several stadiums, improve our schools, health care, homelessness, you name it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you'd have a lot more money in your pocket, young Kim, and then you could choose who you'd like to donate that money to.
That's right.
And it would be much better spent.
Like our show.
Yeah, exactly. Hit that like button. L.D. Stoltz, Illinois, is the kid in the middle school looking across the desk to see your test. Steal the answers from your test.
I mean, I love that. They literally just hit copy and paste. They just crossed out Indiana and put Illinois in. Great. I love that.
All right, Charles Ludi. Lucas Oil won't be paid off for another 10 years. I don't want my tax money going to fund a new stadium. Sorry, not sorry. Mad Duck. We, capital W-E, we have to pay for all this playground equipment for overpaid, immature, junior high boys that refuse to grow up and get millions to play games for a living.
It's strict.
Mad Duck kind of put it all
She's
in
strict.
perspective right there. Vic Ferrari, I have never liked Chicago since they wrongly convicted Richard Kimball.
The fugitive. That's so good.
Bowden JM, very happy with your story on the Bears. Great story, Rob Kendall.
Thank you.
LD Stoltz. What if they never leave Soldier Field and all this nonsense was for nothing?
No, they're out of Soldier Field. There's the problem with Soldier. You ever been to Soldier Field?
No, never have.
There's nothing around
Been
Soldier
to Wrigley,
Field.
but not Soldier.
You went to a baseball game?
I went to several games. Buddy Giff used to be the
Giff
used to be the engineer for the Atlanta Braves, and whenever he would come around the Midwest, I would always go. They always stayed in the nicest hotels, so I'd always go crash there, and then go out and do a bunch of street photography. So I'd always be able to get in the games for free as well.
That's right, Giff with the Braves.
Well, actually, he would always call me to help to go to Wrigley because Wrigley was one of the worst stadiums for equipment because it was not modernized forever, and you had to go, like the wheelchair ramps.
Yeah.
Well, we had to go up like 15 of those to get to the press box. So he'd call me up, hey man, can you come help me with the game? So I'd go and we'd be pushing the cart up everyone. I think they finally maybe got an elevator. I'm not sure, but as after he was let go. Kenneth Egold went to Honeysuckle Hill Saturday night. The food was fantastic. We had the vegetable beef soup for a starter, and we could have made that the meal. It was so delicious.
Yeah, big portions at the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. You'll probably leave with food.
Mm-hmm. Debbie Holcomb says she can't wait until the live show, and she's charted it out for us. 26 days, 9 hours, 25 minutes.
Guys, get your tickets. If you haven't done so yet, come join us. Come hang out with us. It'll be so much fun. We'll laugh together. I'm going to tell some great stories. We'll, of course, roast the politicians, and just a chance, really, for you guys to get together. I know so many of you have just sort of created this little family with the YouTube chat, and it will really help our show. There's nothing more they would love than us to not have a sold-out house. Let's send a message. Let's have a massive crowd. We'll make sure the world knows that your voice is bigger and badder than ever. Join us. Tickets, they're pretty affordable. RobKendallShow.com. Come hang out with us.
And Rob's going to allow me to participate.
That's right.
Yep. We'll be doing the chat, so we got to figure out how to do that. Real cowboy. So you got to come up with some good questions.
That's right.
Some good questions, and then we'll get those questions from you before the show, in some way, shape, or fashion, and then we'll read those. And you'll have Rob there to answer the question.
That's right.
Real Cowboy Chris, late to the chat, but good morning from Bluffton, Indiana. Hope everyone had a great weekend.
Here's the thing, guys, about the live event. We got to get more people than Stormy Daniels, and she's playing there 2 nights before us.
Yeah.
We can't let Stormy.
She's got quite the rep, though.
We can't. We got to sell more tickets than Stormy Daniels. That's
she's
my
a
goal.
national sensation. You're not. No offense, just
You're right.
Indianapolis YouTube
but locally,
sensation.
That's the whole premise of the show.
Right. Locally
We're local.
Should do better.
We're local. We gotta.
I think the Greenwood Freedom Fest is going on the same night there too. So
it'd be a wild weekend in Greenwood.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, Thomas Ho. Rob's reasoning skills are sound, but his ability to communicate is even better.
Hard to disagree with that. Spot on.
Yep. Sue Seifert. Politicians love hanging out with stars and couldn't care any less for their voters or taxpayers. What a bunch of horrible people.
Yeah, she's probably talking about the Bears, right? Like the ribbon cutting. That's what they go. It's bright, shiny objects.
Right. Charles Luty, Lucas Oil is 86% funded with taxpayer money, and it won't be paid off for another 10 years.
Well, and the big kicker on Lucas Oil is that the Colts get whatever. It's like 40% of everything that goes on in Lucas Oil Stadium, even has nothing to do with the Colts, right? That's ridiculous. You buy a Coke and the Ursay Incorporated gets 40% of it? That's ridiculous.
That's why I don't go. Watch it on TV. Sue Seifert. School districts are the worst entitled group. Talking about the referendum.
Oh, yeah.
School districts, worst entitled people.
Yeah.
Hide behind the children.
Human shields.
Yes, they are. Chris Spangle Show. Be like Rob. Be really annoying. And then he adds victory is an annoyance. Spun the positivity. By the way, we got to turn our keys back in to Chris.
What, does he think we're going to, use them?
I don't know. He'd probably like to have the keys back.
We made them.
When you leave a place.
Oh, no, he gave us one, didn't he?
They paid for them, yeah.
No, I paid. I pay.
Okay,
I went and got those. I paid.
All right, well, that means we can still use them.
I think he gave us one, though, like an initial one.
I think we ought to get them back. Shrog Sandwich. Farmers Market starts tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. That'd be Tuesday. I've been painting like a mad woman. Whiteland Market, new Whiteland Market.
Oh,
Whiteland,
you can
Indiana.
see your paintings?
If anybody wants to come see our in-house artiste, Shrog Sandwich, then you go to the Whiteland Farmers Market tomorrow evening, 5:30 p.m. I should go do a man on the street, see if we can get some interviews. See if we can harass the people there. Not harass them.
You mean in a nice way?
In a nice way, yeah. As she adds,
Shrog is awesome.
Shrog had another comment. NDOT has sent my husband, that'd be Mr. Sandwich, 2 of those tickets, and he's fighting both but can't get a response. They keep sending threats, and he keeps wiping his underside with them.
What tickets to what?
I would believe I believe the speeding tickets, NDOT, maybe speeding tickets. Maybe talking about the north side.
Oh, like the cameras.
The cameras.
The
right,
cameras.
Right.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, he's fighting. Good luck.
Shrog, which tickets? I know you can sort of monitor while.
I can. Yes, I can. Keep the fight up. Steve Green with an E. There needs to be a complete freeze on all taxes, fees, tolls. It's out of control.
That's right.
Never going to happen.
How does your government never get any better, even though the taxes keep going up?
Let's see if we got any updates on here. If Stormy Daniels is the headliner, what kind of club is this? Ask Robert Schwartz.
Well, it's not like it's not
the Jiggly Wiggly.
Yeah, it's not her film days. She does like a one-man stand-up like I do.
I doubt there'll be any nudity.
No.
At her show.
No. I think it's just. I mean, I don't know what she actually does, but she's not performing the way she used to on film.
Shrog Sandwich replied, "Yes, sir. The speeding tickets."
Okay, very good.
And okay. This is Shrog. Oh, do it, Daddy Jason. I do have a booth. She's talking about me coming out to.
Okay,
About do. I do live faceless drawings for sale. So she's one of those that sits there and does it on the spot.
Yes.
She will draw you or she will draw.
Yes.
There we go. Awesome. Okay. I don't know what the daddy thing's all about, but I'm, hey, thing. Long as Mr. Sandwich is cool with it, who am I to complain? All right, let's get this back on track. Viking Kings, he was like every other comment today. New guy, a little excited to be in the chat. Let's not forget the first Colts stadium was paid for in taxes by Indianapolis residents, yet all the season tickets were bought by outsiders.
that true?
I'm not sure they were bought by outsiders. I'm sure a lot of them, majority, were probably bought by corporations.
You know, a fascinating story on that. Guy Relford told me one time he's one of the lawyers that worked on the Colts coming. He was like a new lawyer. He was a low-level guy, but he told the story of getting that deal done. That was pretty fascinating how they got that thing wrapped up.
All right. LD Stoltz, so they can send the Bears our money but can't deal with the roads. Worthless piles of excrement.
Yeah, Josh Bain is going to be with us tomorrow from the Indianapolis City County Council. That's going to be fascinating to see his explanation on this proposal to raise taxes in Indianapolis and the state not giving them the money unless they raise the taxes. He says that's not exactly what it is. Every other person I've talked to, including people who like him, have said that is what the thing is. So we'll see what he has to say.
Okay, and then Kevin Branham adds that the farmers market we're talking about, it's at the New Johnson County Library there on 31. I think there's a lot of Southsiders in the chat.
Yeah,
and
those are your people.
Yeah, there we go.
So then they got no excuse not to be in Greenwood on June the 27th.
That's what I'm
just walk across the street.
That's what I'm thinking. By the way, Shrog Sandwich does clear up the daddy thing is because I monitor the chat with my belt.
How disappointing.
That would, I don't monitor with my belt. That'd be a little. All right, just having a little fun. C. Mills, the Secretary of State, should not ever be in the news as much as Diego has. I would assume most people in other states don't even know who their Secretary of State is.
No, you're right. Absolutely.
Drain the swamp. There's very little difference between quote-unquote Republicans and quote-unquote Democrats these days. Giveaway programs are never temporary, and at some point, it will all burst.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We got to feel the pain. We're not feeling enough pain. As much pain as we felt, it's not nearly enough.
Rob needs more pain. Gettle's Guns was all over it today. There were 179 likes. Well, there's more than that right now. How many likes? Did we get to 200?
Yeah, we got to get to 200. Every show before we leave, we got to get to 200.
Well, I've been rambling here. I'm not sure that.
Yeah, if you have not done so yet, please like our show. That really helps us grow the program, and we always got to get 200 before we wrap up the show.
Gettle's Guns. Rob, thanks for the hookup on the contact info for Andy at Honeysuckle Hill. Bistro, who is making your sign. I'm going to have him make one for me as well. Much appreciated.
Yeah, the sign is awesome. We got
Andy was like, yeah, man, I had a whole bunch of, I really don't do that for a living, but I had a whole bunch of calls, so I guess I don't want to be doing this next month. Not sure he was looking for. He was just trying to have some fun, give us a sign. Now
it's awesome. We got to figure out how to get it tacked up to the wall. That's our new.
He's got to figure out how to make the bistro. And is bistro a thing or is that a place?
Honeysuckle Hill Bistro.
Right, bistro. I know that, but I'm saying, is bistro a meat or is that?
No, it's they love bees.
Like a pub, right?
It's bees.
Right.
BEE.
Right. Okay. So anyway. So there you have it. That's what there's again. So much more. Freedom Fest is the 27th. When is the
show?
The show is the 27th.
Right.
There, Kevin Branham pointing that out.
Okay. Here's the thing we got to ask people. All right. The Republican convention is June the 20th.
Mm-hmm.
The voting day.
Mm-hmm.
It's in Fort Wayne. There's part of me that wants to go. But it's all the way in Fort Wayne. I really don't want to drive all the way to Fort Wayne.
Yeah, you asked me about that. And I was like, yeah, we could probably get a hotel and all that good stuff. But, man, of course, they're all sold out. But that's a long drive.
Yeah.
For not having any solid plans.
Well, and then it's like I could broadcast live. And we'd probably get a lot of hits. But then it's like that'd just be work I'd have to do for no money. I'm going to know the outcome regardless. And it's Saturday at the U.S. Open.
And it's Saturday before our live event.
So, like, if somebody...
And then I've got, like, a gig the week after.
If somebody threw a bunch of cash at me...
4th of July weekend is the weekend
If we're in Indianapolis, I would definitely go. But it's a long day. It's going to be, like, 10 hours.
Oh, you got to go now. Andy Engel. Oh, dude, we need to have a live broadcast from the convention.
No. Somebody's going to have to throw... I need a sponsor or something. And then I got to ask for the press pass. And then they may not even let me in.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I imagine the credentialing was done long ago.
No. You can get your credentials now. That's not a big deal.
Oh, you think?
Oh, no. That's fine.
Okay.
My point is, it's just a lot of work. And I really don't want to miss the golf. And I don't know. What do you think? We'll see what the chat says.
C. Mills asks, producer Jason, are you going to be playing any gigs soon? I can bring you the shirts. Actually, my next booked one is July 3rd.
Oh, that's after
It's
the
my
show.
mom's birthday, too.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Patty's birthday?
I know. It's like, what the hell? How'd that fall on that? But so it's mom's birthday. Yeah, July 3rd, and which would be, of course, the night before July 4th.
Yes, thank you.
And that would be at that. By the way, that's at Smocktown in Greenwood, downtown Greenwood, Smocktown Brewery.
Yeah.
So there
Is
you
that the
go.
one
But
I
that
went
would be
to?
the week after.
That's not the one I went and saw you at.
No, you went to Vino Villa.
That's right.
That was the winery.
That's right.
They don't hire me anymore. I think they've moved past me.
Your mom. Let's talk about your mom for a second.
Sure. Let's
She's
talk about Mom.
ageless. Your mom's amazing.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, I like the longevity. I'm hoping it rubs off.
yeah. I mean, your mom is like an incredible woman. She is like,
In her late 80s.
yeah, and
Late
just
80s,
does
late
everything
80s.
for herself.
I don't think she'll have a problem me telling that.
No, she's amazing.
I think once you hit a certain age, it's like, let's brag about that crap.
Oh yeah, totally.
Let's
oh
I made
totally.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
your mom's amazing.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
absolutely. Yeah. No medications, perfectly healthy, and it's like So
It's awesome.
okay. Anyway, our birthday's coming up, so in case you want to come over, bring a card or a cake or
How about I bring you the card?
surprise or
How about I
something
give it
like
to
that.
you?
Well, you could come to the show and
a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, that's gonna happen. All right. So anyway, but so to answer Andy's question, yes, July 3rd. That's I don't play. I used to play like 3 nights. I went through a period where, like, when COVID hit, I just went through a period where I was playing, well, right after COVID, like 3 and 4 nights a week.
Yeah.
Just like out of nowhere, it just started happening because I had nothing to do, so I started doing that, and then that got old though.
Jason goes through phases in his life, and the phases now. So we've had some phases that have lasted a long time, but I feel like usually after a year of something, you get your fill of it. And
Kinda.
I mean,
Sometimes it'll linger in a couple years.
yeah, we've had businesses though that have lasted way longer than that. Like hopefully this one. All right, are you done?
We'll see. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know if you had anything
Yeah,
else.
we're good. All right, so we'll get the hell out of here. And this chat brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. Give them a call. So long, everybody.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. You guys are the absolute best. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that like button. If you're feeling super generous, put the feed out there. If you got a Facebook, you got a Twitter page, let people know we're here. Let them know what we're doing. And if you haven't done so yet, get your tickets to that live show, June the 27th, Mad Hatter Comedy Club, Event Center in Greenwood. Tickets have been going great. Great sales so far. We want to sell that place out. We want to make such a statement. And most importantly, I want to see all of you guys. Let's have a fun evening together. Get your tickets now, robkendallshow.com. It's going to do it for us today. For producer Jason, I'm Rob Kendall. You've been watching Rob Kendall Show.